ठीक है। तो अभी हम शुरू करेंगे एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट दैट इज नोन एज कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, CSR। तो हम शुरू करेंगे एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट दैट इज कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और CSR। सो व्हाट इज कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी? यह CSR क्या है? आपका कॉर्पोरेट लॉ हो, बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट हो, या कोई और चैप्टर हो, नॉर्मली उसमें एक क्वेश्चन CSR के रिलेटेड आता है। कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है? व्हाट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द कंपनीज? Previously, companies were doing business. They have only one responsibility, that is economic responsibility. Their responsibility ends when they earn profit. Profit was the ultimate objective of any business. So they do not care for the society. But nowadays, companies have changed, laws have changed. Nowadays, a corporate firm does not have only economic responsibility, it has social responsibility as well as environmental responsibility. Nowadays, companies are treating themselves as corporate citizens. They have many responsibility towards the country, society, people, environment at a large. So this is corporate social responsibility. Yes, CSR. Corporate social responsibility is the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically. Nowadays, companies should run their operations ethically and contribute to economic development of the society while improving the quality of life of the workforce. Company has to change the quality of life of their employees and their families as well as local community and society at a large. Hence, nowadays companies has economic responsibility, legal responsibility, ethical responsibility, philanthropic responsibilities. All these constitute corporate social responsibilities or CSR. इसका मतलब आज के डेट में कंपनी को सिर्फ प्रॉफिट कमाना नहीं होता है, उसका इकोनॉमिक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से खत्म नहीं होता है, उसको सोसाइटी के लिए काम करना पड़ता है, उसको अपना कंपनी को एथिकल वे में रन करना पड़ता है, उसको कस्टमर को अच्छी क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट सही रेट पर देना पड़ता है, उसको बहुत सारे फिलैंथ्रोपिक काम करना पड़ता है। ये सारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एक कंपनी का है। इन सबको मिलाकर हम बोलते हैं CSR और कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द बिजनेस। नाउडेज कंपनीज आर ट्रीटिंग देमसेल्फ एज कॉर्पोरेट सिटीजन ऑफ ए कंट्री। जैसे हम लोग सिटीजन है, उस तरह से रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज भी इंडिया का सिटीजन है, लेकिन कौन सा सिटीजन है? कॉर्पोरेट सिटीजन। जैसे हमारा कंट्री के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, ड्यूटी है, रिलायंस का, टाटा का, विप्रो का भी ड्यूटी है कंट्री के लिए। सो दीज कंबाइनली कॉन्स्टिट्यूट CSR या कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। CSR is a business imperative. CSR is linked to sustainable development. What is sustainable development? डेवलपमेंट का मतलब ग्रोथ। आपको ग्रोथ करना है, लेकिन विदाउट हैम्परिंग द नीड्स ऑफ द फ्यूचर जनरेशन, उसको बोलते हैं सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। आप खुद को आगे बढ़ाइए, फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए भी कुछ रखिए, उसको बोलते हैं सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। CSR is a way to manage business in an ethical way. So these are all constituting CSR or corporate social responsibility. Now, there are two types of arguments. One is arguments in favor of CSR. Some economists tell that companies should go for CSR activities. What are their arguments? And some economists tells that companies should not do CSR arguments. What are their arguments? We'll discuss. First, arguments in favor of CSR, corporate social responsibility. First argument is philanthropy. Everybody should do some philanthropic activities. इस तरह से आज के डेट में इंडिया का हर एक सिटीजन को कुछ फिलांथ्रोपिक समाज मंगलकारी कार्यक्रम करना चाहिए। उसी तरह से कंपनी भी एक सिटीजन है, कॉर्पोरेट सिटीजन है, तो फॉर फिलांथ्रोपिक रीजन इट मस्ट अडॉप्ट CSR एक्टिविटीज। सेकेंड, चेंजिंग पब्लिक एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ द बिजनेस। आज के डेट में लोगों का कंपनी से एक्सपेक्टेशन बदल गया है। लोग सोचते हैं ये कंपनी हमारे सोसाइटी में है, हमारा पानी यूज कर रहा है, हमको उसके बदले में तकलीफ हो रहा है, तो सोसाइटी को इसको रिटर्न बैक करना पड़ेगा। तो द कंपनी मस्ट बी ओपन, अकाउंटेबल टू द सोसाइटी। इट मस्ट एड्रेस द सोशल इशू, एनवायरमेंटल इशू। आप जिस एरिया में बिजनेस कर रहे हैं उस एरिया में स्लम है, तो आपको वो स्लम के डेवलपमेंट के लिए कुछ ना कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा। लोग एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं आपसे, नहीं तो आपको वहां पर रखने नहीं देंगे। सिर्फ आप प्रॉफिट कमाएंगे, सोसाइटी के लिए कुछ करेंगे नहीं, तो सोसाइटी आपको एग्जिस्टेंस में नहीं रखेगा। नेक्स्ट, बेटर रिलेशनशिप विथ एम्प्लॉय। आज के डेट में हर एक कॉर्पोरेट अपना एम्प्लॉय के साथ अच्छा रिलेशनशिप रखना चाहता है। एम्प्लॉय को वो आज के डेट में उसका कंपनी का ग्रेटेस्ट एसेट सोचते हैं। इसीलिए वर्क कल्चर बदल दिया गया है। वर्क फ्रॉम होम का कल्चर आ गया, बेटर वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस का कल्चर आ गया। तो कंपनी लोगों को अपना एम्प्लॉय को देखना पड़ता है, अच्छा रिलेशन रखना पड़ता है, इसीलिए कंपनी को CSR रिलेटेड बहुत सारा एक्टिविटी करना पड़ता है। आज के डेट में कस्टमर भी विजिलेंट हो गए हैं। वो प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं जो सोसाइटी के लिए जो काम करता है। हम लोगों का टाटा के ऊपर भरोसा है, क्योंकि हमको पता है टाटा कैंसर हॉस्पिटल चलाता है, स्कूल चलाता है, कॉलेज चलाता है, सोसाइटी के लिए हेल्प करता है, तो टाटा प्रोडक्ट हम खरीद। बहुत सारे लोग एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज को जो कंपनी एड्रेस करता है उस तरह का प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं। आज के डेट में लोग ग्रीन प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं। थोड़ा ज्यादा पैसा देंगे लेकिन ग्रीन प्रोडक्ट खरीदेंगे। 1 रुपया ज्यादा देंगे, जैसे क्लासमेट बोलता है हम जितना पैसा लेते हैं अपना नोटबुक के लिए, अगर 31 रुपया लेते हैं तो 1 रुपया एक पेड़ लगाने में लगाते हैं। तो लोग क्लासमेट का बुक यूज करते हैं, 1 रुपया एक्स्ट्रा देते हैं, लेकिन उनको लगता है नहीं हमारा ये 1 रुपया किसी एनवायरमेंटल काम के लिए, किसी सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबल काम के लिए यूज होता है। शेयर होल्डर्स कंसर्न। आज के डेट में जो कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं वो सोशली रिस्पॉन्सिबल कंपनीज में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं। उसको बोलते हैं सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबल इन्वेस्टमेंट। बहुत सारा सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबल इंडेक्स निकलता है, कौन सा कंपनी का सोसाइटी के लिए कंट्रीब्यूशन ज्यादा है उसका रैंक है। उसके हिसाब से लोग आज के डेट में बहुत सारा एथिकल फंड्स आ गए हैं। वो लोग पैसा देते हैं उस एथिकल फंड्स में, वो लेकर पैसा इन्वेस्ट करता है। ये एक म्यूचुअल फंड है जो पैसा लेकर इन्वेस्ट करता है, जो मोर सोशली रेस्पॉन्सिबल कंपनीज है वहां पर लेकर पैसे को इन्वेस्ट किया जाता है। आप अगर CSR एक्टिविटी करेंगे, नेक्स्ट वन इज आपका ब्रांड बढ़ेगा, लोगों के नाम में आपका पब्लिक इमेज बढ़ेगा। आपका इमेज बढ़े तो आपका सेल्स बढ़ेगा, टर्नओवर बढ़ेगा, टॉप लाइन बढ़ेगा, बॉटम लाइन बढ़ेगा। तो फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ ब्रांड बिल्डिंग ऑल्सो कंपनी शुड डू कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एक्टिविटीज या CSR एक्टिविटीज। नेक्स्ट आर्गुमेंट फॉर CSR इज टैक्स बेनिफिट। इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में बहुत सारा जगह पर जो कंपनीज CSR एक्टिविटीज करते हैं उसमें डोनेशन देते हैं, ग्रांट देते हैं, उनके लिए बहुत सारा छूट है। जैसे सेक्शन 35AC CCA 35CCB सेक्शन 80G में भी बहुत सारा डिडक्शंस टैक्स बेनिफिट्स मिलता है फॉर सोशल एक्टिविटीज। नेक्स्ट, एनलाइटेंड सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट। कंपनी लोगों को भी पता है हम अगर सोशल एक्टिविटी करेंगे हमारा रेपुटेशन बढ़ेगा, रेपुटेशन बढ़ेगा तो हमारा रिस्क कम होगा, रिस्क कम होगा तो हमको कॉम्पिटिटर से थोड़ा एज मिल जाएगा। तो फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट ऑल्सो कंपनी शुड डू सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज एक्टिविटीज या CSR एक्टिविटीज। नेक्स्ट, प्रोटेक्टिंग एनवायरमेंट एंड ensuring सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। मैं बताया था सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट क्या है, हम अपना आज का डेवलपमेंट करेंगे विदाउट कॉम्प्रोमाइज द फ्यूचर जनरेशंस नीड। फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए कुछ रखकर हम आज डेवलपमेंट करेंगे। हम पूरा का पूरा आज खा लेंगे तो फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए कुछ नहीं बचेगा। उसको बोलते हैं सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। इसीलिए अरब कंट्रीज आज बोल रहे हैं आप सेफ फ्यूल कैंपेन चला रहे हैं। अरब कंट्रीज बोल रहे हैं फ्यूल बचाइए। क्यों बताइए? अरे वो तो सेल करते हैं, उनको पता है फ्यूल अगर खत्म हो जाएगा तो उनका कंट्री का सारा जो डेवलपमेंट है वो रुक जाएगा। तो वो चाहते हैं देयर मस्ट बी ए सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्ट रहे। नेक्स्ट, ग्लोबलाइजेशन। आज के डेट में ग्लोबलाइजेशन जब से आ गया इंडिया में तो हमारा कंपनी बाहर में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, बाहर लोगों के कंपनी हमारे यहाँ पर इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं। देयर इज फ्री फ्लो ऑफ फंड्स फ्रॉम वन कंट्री टू अनदर। सो बाहर में जैसे जैसे CSR एक्टिविटीज को लेकर जागरूकता बढ़ रहा है, इंडिया में भी कंपनी रोज CSR एक्टिविटी करने के लिए क्या हो रहे हैं, इच्छुक हो रहे हैं। Next, there are many international legal guidelines for CSR activities. जैसे SA 8000 गाइडलाइन, ILO गाइडलाइन, इंटरनेशनल लेबर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन गाइडलाइंस, OECD गाइडलाइंस, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट गाइडलाइंस, ISO 2006 गाइडलाइंस, यूएन ग्लोबल कॉम्पैक्ट गाइडलाइंस। ये सब गाइडलाइंस आ गए कंपनी को कैसे CSR एक्टिविटीज में इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए, इसके लिए गाइडलाइंस है। तो ये सब गाइडलाइन को फॉलो करने के लिए भी कंपनी को CSR एक्टिविटीज में इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ता है। These are arguments in favor of CSR. Next, there are certain arguments against CSR. पहला आर्गुमेंट इज profit maximization argument. One economist, Friedman, he tells that the main aim of the business is to earn profit. Hence, the business must focus upon profit maximization. सोसाइटी का काम करने के लिए कंपनी नहीं बना है, तो प्रॉफिट बिजनेस का मेन एम होना चाहिए कैसे प्रॉफिट बढ़े। इसीलिए वो बोलते हैं there is one and only aim of objective of business is profit maximization, not doing social activities. सेकेंड आर्गुमेंट दिया जाता है आप जो सोशल एक्टिविटी में स्कूल बनाएंगे, कॉलेज बनाएंगे, पार्क बनाएंगे, पेड़ लगाएंगे, ये सब गवर्नमेंट का काम है। तो सेकेंड आर्गुमेंट बोलता है आप अगर ये काम करेंगे तो गवर्नमेंट क्या करेगा? These are the works of elected governments. तो नेक्स्ट आर्गुमेंट होता है ये सब काम कंपनी को नहीं करना चाहिए बिकॉज ये सब गवर्नमेंट का काम है और कॉर्पोरेट उसमें घुसना नहीं चाहिए। नेक्स्ट आर्गुमेंट इज द वेरी एक्ट ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस क्रिएट्स प्रॉफिट फॉर द सोसाइटी। बेटा दो तरह का बिजनेस है, एक बिजनेस अच्छा प्रॉफिट कर रहा है, सोशल एक्टिविटी नहीं कर रहा है। दूसरा बिजनेस सोशल एक्टिविटी कर रहा है, प्रॉफिट नहीं कर रहा है। सबसे अच्छा है जो प्रॉफिट कर रहा है, सोशल एक्टिविटी नहीं कर रहा है। क्योंकि जो बिजनेस प्रॉफिट कर रहा है मतलब कितने लोगों को वो जॉब दिया है, कितने सप्लायर उसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है, कितने कस्टमर्स उसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है। तो सबसे अच्छा चीज है आप प्रॉफिटेबल बने, उसके बाद आप सोसाइटी के लिए कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। एक प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबल बिजनेस बन सकता है। एक बैंकक्रप्ट बिजनेस सोसाइटी के लिए कभी भी काम नहीं कर सकता। इसीलिए मेन फोकस होना चाहिए प्रॉफिट के ऊपर और सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सेकेंडरी फोकस होना चाहिए। ये एक आर्गुमेंट अगेंस्ट है। नेक्स्ट, स्पेंडिंग अदर पीपल्स मनी। कुछ आर्गुमेंट्स हैं, अगर हम कंपनी सोसाइटी के लिए काम करेगा, पैसा कहां से आएगा? पैसा शेयर होल्डर का से आएगा या प्रॉफिट से आएगा? प्रॉफिट किसका है? शेयर होल्डर का है। इसका मतलब जब आप सोसाइटी का काम करते हैं तो शेयर होल्डर का प्रॉफिट का मनी का एक हिस्सा आप डाइवर्ट कर देते हैं। इट इज स्पेंडिंग अदर पीपल्स मनी। It is difficult to measure CSR performance. नेक्स्ट आर्गुमेंट अगेंस्ट CSR है, कोई कंपनी CSR एक्टिविटीज कर रहा है, उसका परफॉर्मेंस को मेजर करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है। कितना किया है, क्या किया है, इससे सोसाइटी को फायदा हुआ है, नहीं हुआ है। बहुत सारा कंपनी अपने गांव में जाकर स्कूल खोल रहे हैं, वहां पर बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है। तो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मेजर CSR परफॉर्मेंस। So these are the arguments against CSR. लेकिन कंपनी को CSR करना चाहिए। क्यों करना चाहिए? These are the need of CSR. हमको पता है बिजनेस सोसाइटी में रहता है, सोसाइटी में बिजनेस करता है, इसीलिए सोसाइटी के लिए उसको कुछ करना पड़ेगा। ए बिजनेस नीड्स ए स्टेबल सोशल एनवायरनमेंट। अगर सोसाइटी में प्रॉब्लम होगा तो बिजनेस में प्रॉब्लम होगा। जैसे आज के डेट में बांग्लादेश में सोसाइटी में पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी है तो बिजनेस हैम्पर हो रहा है। श्रीलंका में पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी है, बिजनेस हैम्पर हो रहा है। पाकिस्तान में अभी वॉर लाइक सिचुएशन होकर इंस्टेबिलिटी आ गया तो बिजनेस हैम्पर हो रहा है। तो बिजनेस को सोसाइटी के लिए सोसाइटियल प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो बिजनेस खुद अपना एग्जिस्टेंस गवा बैठेगा। नेक्स्ट, इंक्रीजिंग रेगुलेटरी प्रेशर। आज के डेट में बहुत सारा रेगुलेशंस आ गया है CSR के लिए, तो आपको CSR करना पड़ेगा। नेक्स्ट, in these days, CSR is being viewed not only as making good business sense, but also contributing to long-term prosperity of the company and its survival. किसी बिजनेस का लॉन्ग टर्म प्रॉस्पेरिटी, सर्वाइवल उसका CSR एक्टिविटीज के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। इसीलिए CSR एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं, इसीलिए टाटा 150 साल से, बिरला 250 साल से इंडिया में एग्जिस्टेंस में है। देयर इज ए सोशल एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी ऑफ दिस बिजनेस हाउसेस। नेक्स्ट, टू बिल्ड and maintain efficient, effective, fair relationship of different stakeholder, a company should go for CSR activities. Next, what are the benefits of CSR? बेनिफिट्स ऑफ CSR मतलब CSR एक्टिविटी एक कंपनी करता है, उसका क्या क्या फायदा होगा? क्या फायदा होगा? उसका ब्रांड वैल्यू बढ़ेगा, उसको लोग पैसा देने के लिए राजी होंगे, ग्रेटर एक्सेस टू फाइनेंस, उसका रिस्क मैनेजमेंट अच्छा होगा, वहां पर सब लोग काम करना चाहिए चाहेंगे, वहां पर हेल्दियर और सेफ वर्क प्लेस होगा, उनके लोग मोटिवेटेड होंगे अच्छे कंपनी में काम करने के लिए, कस्टमर लॉयल होंगे, लॉयल कस्टमर, टाटा प्रोडक्ट हम अभी से कब से यूज कर रहे हैं। एनहांस्ड कॉन्फिडेंस एंड ट्रस्ट, लोगों का कॉन्फिडेंस ट्रस्ट उसके ऊपर बिठेगा। अपलिफ्टमेंट ऑफ पुअर पीपुल एंड सोसाइटी, सोसाइटी के लिए पुअर पीपुल अपलिफ्ट हो जाएंगे, तो वो जब अपलिफ्ट हो जाएंगे उनका स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग जब बढ़ जाएगा तो वो भी कस्टमर बन सकते हैं। दीज आर द benefits. Next, contribute to long-term prosperity of the people and their business. These are the benefits of CSR. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट हम डिस्कस करेंगे मैंडेटरी सीएसआर। जब इंडिया में पहले मैंडेटरी सीएसआर नहीं था, कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 आने के बाद मैंडेटरी सीएसआर प्रोविजन इंक्लूड हो गया है। इंडिया दुनिया के वो चंद कंट्री में से एक है, 5-6 कंट्री में से एक है जहां पर मैंडेटरी सीएसआर है। मैंडेटरी मतलब यू आर बाउंड टू डू, ए कंपनी इज बाउंड टू डू CSR activity. Not all companies are bound to do, but certain type of companies are bound to do CSR activities. ये मैंडेटरी CSR प्रोविजन कंपनी एक्ट का 135 सेक्शंस में है। सेक्शन 135 डील्स विथ मैंडेटरी CSR। ये बोलता है जो कंपनी का नेटवर्थ 500 करोड़ है, कंपनी का नेटवर्थ 500 करोड़ है, या उस कंपनी का टर्नओवर 1000 करोड़ है, या उस कंपनी का नेट प्रॉफिट 5 करोड़ है, 3 कंडीशन में से एक है। कंपनी का नेटवर्थ 500 करोड़ होगा, या नहीं तो उसका टर्नओवर या सेल 1000 करोड़ का होगा, या नहीं तो उसका नेट प्रॉफिट 5 करोड़ या उससे ज्यादा होगा। उस तरह का कंपनी का को अपना प्रॉफिट का 2% CSR एक्टिविटी में स्पेंड करने के लिए बाउंड है। वो एक CSR कमिटी बनाएगा, वो कमिटी देखेगा अपना प्रॉफिट का 2% कंपनी CSR एक्टिविटी में स्पेंड कर रहा है या नहीं। CSR कमिटी उसको बोलते हैं। तो इस तरह का कंपनी जिसका नेटवर्थ 500 करोड़ या सेल 1000 करोड़ या प्रॉफिट 5 करोड़ है, वो अपना प्रॉफिट का 2% मैंडेटरीली CSR एक्टिविटी में स्पेंड करेगा। तो CSR एक्टिविटी का मतलब क्या है? कंपनीज एक्ट में दिया हुआ है। CSR एक्टिविटीज का मतलब क्या है? एक्टिविटीज रिलेटेड टू एक्सट्रैक्टिंग एक्सट्रीम हंगर, खाना बनाकर बांटेगा। पॉवर्टी, प्रमोशन ऑफ एजुकेशन, स्कूल कॉलेज बनाएगा। प्रमोटिंग जेंडर इक्वालिटी, मेल फीमेल में कैसे वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट करेगा। रिड्यूसिंग चाइल्ड मोर्टालिटी एंड इंप्रूविंग मैटरनल हेल्थ, जननी सुरक्षा योजना करेगा। कॉम्बैटिंग ह्यूमन वायरस, जैसे आया हमारा यहाँ पर कोरोना वायरस, इस तरह का कोई वायरस है उसको रोकने के लिए काम करेगा। मलेरिया डिजीज, इस तरह के कम्युनिकेबल डिजीज को रोकने के लिए काम करेगा। इंश्योरिंग एनवायरमेंटल सस्टेनेबिलिटी, एनवायरमेंट को बचाने के लिए पेड़ लगाएगा और कुछ ऐसा एक्टिविटीज होगा तो वो करेगा। एम्प्लॉयमेंट एनहांसिंग वोकेशनल स्किल, लोगों को वोकेशनल स्किल देगा। या सोशल बिजनेस प्रोजेक्ट, कोई सोशल बिजनेस प्रोजेक्ट में इन्वॉल्व होगा। या नहीं तो कंट्रीब्यूशन टू PM रिलीफ फंड, CM रिलीफ फंड और सोशल फंड, SC/ST फंड, बैकवर्ड क्लास फंड, माइनॉरिटी एम्पावरमेंट फंड, उसमें डोनेशन देगा। या सच अदर मैटर्स व्हिच मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम। तो इसका मतलब उस तरह का कंपनी अपना प्रॉफिट का 2% हिस्सा इस तरह का एक्टिविटी में स्पेंड करने के लिए बाउंड है। वो कौन सा बोलता है? सेक्शन 135। दिस इज रिगार्डिंग CSR और कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी। आपको अनम्यूट कर रहा हूं, किसी का CSR के ऊपर कोई डाउट है तो बोल सकते हैं, नहीं तो हम आगे जाएं। अरे CSR
Is it net profit of last 3 years or it is net profit before tax, PBT of last 3 years, average PBT of last 3 years?
कौन सा बेटा? किसके बारे में?
सर जो कंडीशंस है 2% ऑफ द एवरेज नेट
नहीं,
प्रॉफिट
2% ऑफ एवरेज प्रॉफिट, 2% of the average net profit of the company made during 3 years, previous 3 years का दो प्रॉफिट का 2%, उसका एवरेज का 2%।
Sir, it is exempted for first 5 years.
हाँ, और कोई? ठीक है, तो आपका एग्जाम में एक क्वेश्चन सीएसआर रिलेटेड आएगा ही आएगा, लॉ में आएगा, नहीं तो और जो और कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस पढ़ा रहे हैं वहां पर आएगा, बहुत
Sir,
2-3 जगह पर आएगा सीएसआर।
sir, it is mentioned net profit shall mean net profit before tax as
नेट
per
प्रॉफिट
book of
बिफोर
account
टैक्स,
and shall not include.
नेट प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स लिखा हुआ है। ठीक है, हम आगे जाएंगे। नेक्स्ट हम बात करेंगे वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ द बिजनेस। वाइंडिंग अप का मतलब क्या है? कंपनी को बंद करना। कंपनी को बंद करने को बोलते हैं वाइंडिंग अप। तो द टर्म वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ ए कंपनी में बी डिफाइंड एज द प्रोसीडिंग बाय व्हिच ए कंपनी इज डिसॉल्व्ड। कंपनी का बंद करने का प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं वाइंडिंग अप। मैं बताया था, कंपनी इज एन आर्टिफिशियल पर्सन, it is created by law and it will come into end or it will lose its existence by way of law। कंपनी फॉर्मेशन का जैसा एक प्रोसेस है, कंपनी बंद करने का भी एक प्रोसेस है। द प्रोसेस ऑफ क्लोजिंग डाउन ऑफ ए कंपनी और डिसॉल्विंग ऑफ ए कंपनी इज नोन एज वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ ए कंपनी। So winding up of a company is a process of putting an end to the life of the company. It is a process by which a company is dissolved। तो कंपनी बंद करने का प्रोसेस को वाइंडिंग अप होता है। जब भी कोई कंपनी बंद हो जाता है, हम क्या करते हैं, उसका जिसका एसेट जितना है, एक आदमी अपॉइंट होता है जो कंपनी बंद करता है, उसको बोलते हैं लिक्विडेटर या उसको बोलते हैं ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर। ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर को कोर्ट अपॉइंट करता है कंपनी बंद करने के लिए। वो ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर कंपनी में आता है। जिस दिन ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर कंपनी में आएगा, उस दिन से बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर का सारा पावर खत्म हो जाएगा। सारा पावर किसके हाथ में आ जाएगा? कंपनी का ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर के हाथ। वो ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर धीरे धीरे सारा एसेट को बेचेगा और उसका पैसा आएगा। पैसा आएगा तो पहले लाइबिलिटीज को पेमेंट करेगा, फिर बचेगा तो शेयर होल्डर्स को पेमेंट करेगा। ये प्रोसीजर होता है वाइंडिंग अप का। सो वाइंडिंग अप मतलब बंद करने का मतलब कंपनी का एसेट को बेच दिया, पैसा आया, लाइबिलिटीज को पेमेंट कर दिया और पैसा बचा, शेयर होल्डर के बीच में बांट दिया। ये काम करता कौन है? लिक्विडेटर। लिक्विडेटर को कौन अपॉइंट करता है? कोर्ट। तो हम पढ़ेंगे ये वाइंडिंग अप क्या है, कितने तरह का वाइंडिंग अप है, कौन कंपनी को बंद कर सकता है, कैसे कंपनी बंद हो सकता है, उसके बारे में डिटेल्स में पढ़ेंगे। इसको बोलते हैं वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ द कंपनी। तो अभी पढ़ेंगे मोड्स ऑफ वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ द कंपनी। कंपनी बंद करने का कितना तरीका है? देयर आर टू वेज ऑफ वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ ए कंपनी। एक कंपनी को बंद करने का दो तरीका है। एक को बोलते हैं कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप और एक को बोलते हैं वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। दो तरीका है कंपनी बंद करने का। एक को बोलते हैं कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप और एक है वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग। पहले पढ़ेंगे कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप। कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप मतलब कंपनी चाहता नहीं है लेकिन उसको कंपल्सन करेगा, कोई जबरदस्ती करेगा बंद करो। ऐसा कौन कर सकता है? ऐसा सिर्फ कोर्ट कर सकता है। कंपनी कोर्ट को हम क्या बोलते हैं? कंपनी कोर्ट को हम बोलते हैं एनसीएलटी। सो कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप सिर्फ कौन कर सकता है? एनसीएलटी कर सकता है। एनसीएलटी का मतलब नेशनल कंपनी लॉ ट्रिब्यूनल। सो नेशनल कंपनी लॉ ट्रिब्यूनल एक कंपनी को कंपल्सरीली बंद करने का ऑर्डर दे सकता है, ये बोलता है सेक्शन 272। लेकिन सेक्शन 271 बोलता है कौन कौन से ग्राउंड पर ये ऑर्डर एनसीएलटी दे सकता है। देयर आर 6 ग्राउंड्स इन व्हिच एनसीएलटी कैन गिव कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग ऑफ ऑर्डर। 6 ग्राउंड है। क्या क्या 6 ग्राउंड है? एक है स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन, एक है इनएबिलिटी टू पे डेट, एक है जस्ट एंड इक्विटेबल, एक है डिफॉल्ट इन फाइलिंग पीएल बैलेंस शीट एंड एनुअल रिपोर्ट, एक है एक्टेड अगेंस्ट द सॉवरेनिटी ऑफ इंडिया, और एक है सीक इंडस्ट्रियल कंपनीज अंडर सेक्शन 424G। तो एक एक करके बात करेंगे क्या क्या ग्राउंड है जहां पर कंपनी को कंपल्सरीली वाइंडिंग ऑफ एनसीएलटी कर सकता है। पहला है, एक सेकेंड, हाँ हेलो, हाँ कौन ला, नमस्कार, हाँ हाँ हाँ, गेट नंबर 1 है रे माँ, गेट नंबर 3। हाँ हाँ हाँ, ओपीटीसीएल गेट नंबर 3 तीन पशि जाऊ ना। हाँ, गेट गेट नंबर 3 ने पशिले तो सीधा पशि पूरा पूरा सीधा पशि आसतु, सीधा पशि आसी गोटे पाचेरी माड़ खाइबे, पाचेरी माड़ खाइले लेफ्ट हैंड साइड को आसी पूरा से, हाँ पूरा सीधा आसिल तो पाचेरी और रास्ता नथिबो, तार लेफ्ट साइड को आसीबे, लेफ्ट साइड रो लास्ट घरटा। हाँ लेफ्ट साइड रे आसीबे, लेफ्ट साइड रो लास्ट घर, बुझले कि? गेट नंबर 3 रो सीधा पळी आसीबे पाचेरी, पाचेरी धक्का खाइबे, तार लेफ्ट साइड को आसीबे। हौ हौ बेटा एक सेकंड। हाँ हाँ, मेरा वॉइस आ रहा है बेटा? कोई लिख लो थोड़ा। Am I audible now? हाँ यस। तो हम बात कर रहे थे किसके ऊपर? हम बात कर रहे थे व्हाट आर द ग्राउंड्स फॉर कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग ऑफ द कंपनी। एक कंपनी कैसे कंपल्सरीली बंद हो सकता है? कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग ऑफ कौन कर सकता है? मैं बताया था, एक कंपनी को कंपल्सरीली बंद कोर्ट कर सकता है। कोर्ट को क्या बोलते हैं? एनसीएलटी कर सकता है। एनसीएलटी सेक्शन 272 के अंदर में ये ऑर्डर दे सकता है कंपनी को कंपल्सरली बंद करने के। व्हाट आर द ग्राउंड्स फॉर कंपल्सरली वाइंडिंग अप? कोर्ट कब ऑर्डर देगा? मैं बताया था कोर्ट ऑर्डर देगा जब ये 6 ग्राउंड्स होगा। क्या क्या 6 ग्राउंड्स है? पहला है स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन, इनएबिलिटी टू पे डेट, जस्ट एंड इक्विटेबल, default in filing PL account or balance sheet and annual report, acted against the sovereignty and integrity of India and seek industrial companies। ये सब के बारे में एक एक करके डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। पहला, स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन ऑफ ए कंपनी। बेटा, एक कंपनी अगर अपना शेयर होल्डर लोगों का मीटिंग करे और उस मीटिंग में एक स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन पास कर और शेयर होल्डर राजी हो जाए, नहीं हमको ये कंपनी को बंद करना पड़ेगा, तो वो शेयर होल्डर लोग राजी होकर एक रिजोल्यूशन बनाएंगे। वो रिजोल्यूशन को लेकर कोर्ट में चले जाएंगे, कोर्ट में जाकर बोले हम लोग मिलकर डिसाइड किए हैं कंपनी को बंद कर देंगे। तो कोर्ट क्या करेगा, उनके लिए एक ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर अपॉइंट कर देगा उनका कंपनी बंद करने के लिए। तो यहां पर स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन ऑफ द कंपनी, अगर कंपनी का मेंबर्स एक मीटिंग करके स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन पास किए और वहां पर बताए कि कंपनी बंद होगा, 3/4 मेंबर राजी हो गए, हाँ कंपनी बंद कर देना चाहिए और वो इस कंपनी को रखने का कोई फायदा नहीं है, और वो कोर्ट के पास जाकर वो स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन को दिखाए, एनसीएलटी उसको देखने के बाद बोलेगा ठीक है मैं ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर अपॉइंट कर देता हूं, आपका कंपनी बंद होने के लिए मैं प्रोसेस शुरू कर देता हूं। ठीक है, सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट केस, स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन ऑफ द कंपनी। व्हाट इज द सेकेंड केस? सेकेंड केस इज इनएबिलिटी टू पे डेट। अगर एक कंपनी है वो अपना पैसा नहीं दे पा रहा है, उधारी नहीं दे पा रहा है, तो उसका क्रेडिटर्स लोग जाएंगे कहां पर? कोर्ट में, बोलेगे हमसे पैसा लिया है, हमारा पैसा नहीं दे पा रहा, आप ऑर्डर दीजिए, वो कंपनी बंद होगा, ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर आएगा, उसका एसेट सीज होगा और सीज होने के बाद सेल करके हमारा पैसा पहले दिया जाएगा, बाद में और किसी का दिया जाएगा। तो एनसीएलटी जब भी कोई कंपनी अपना उधार टाइम पर पेमेंट नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो क्रेडिटर्स लोगों के पास राइट है, वो कोर्ट को अप्रोच करके कंपनी को बंद करवा दे सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट वन इज जस्ट एंड इक्विटेबल। जब कोर्ट को लगता है ये कंपनी बंद हो जाना ही चाहिए, तो कोर्ट अपने आप ऑर्डर दे सकता है। कोर्ट को कब लगेगा? कोर्ट को ये सब ग्राउंड पर लगेगा। पहला है लॉस ऑफ सब्सट्राम। इसका मतलब कंपनी जिस पर्पज के लिए बना था वो पर्पज ही अगर खत्म हो जाए तो कोर्ट ऑर्डर दे सकता है इस तरह का कंपनी रखने का कोई फायदा नहीं। आपका एक कंपनी बना था, इंडिया पाकिस्तान के बीच जो क्रिकेट मैच होगा उसका सारा अरेंजमेंट आप देखेंगे, आपका पर्पज ये था। अरे अभी क्या 50 साल तक इंडिया पाकिस्तान के बीच में मैच नहीं हो सकता है, इम्पॉसिबल मैटर है, बंद करो उसको। बात समझ में आ रहा है क्या? नेक्स्ट, डेडलॉक इन मैनेजमेंट। आपके कंपनी में डायरेक्टर के बीच में कौन डायरेक्टर कौन मेंबर कुछ पता नहीं चल रहा है, देयर इज ए डेडलॉक इन द मैनेजमेंट, वहां पर कंपनी को बंद कर देना अच्छा है। ऑपरेशन ऑफ माइनॉरिटी। आप अपने कंपनी में माइनॉरिटी शेयर होल्डर, स्मॉल शेयर होल्डर का इंटरेस्ट के अगेंस्ट में बार बार काम कर रहे हैं, आपका कंपनी फ्रॉडुलेंट पर्पज के लिए बना है, फ्रॉड कर रहे हैं। इनकॉर्पोरेटेड और क्वासी पार्टनरशिप, आप कुछ ऐसा एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व है कंपनी जिससे क्या होता है, इलीगलिटी झलकता है, तो वहां पर कोर्ट डायरेक्टली ऑर्डर करेगा ये कंपनी को तुरंत बंद करो। फोर्थ पॉइंट, नॉन फाइलिंग ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स विद द रजिस्ट्रार। मैं बताया था एक कंपनी को अपना आरओसी के पास फाइनल अकाउंट्स बताना, डिपॉजिट करना पड़ता है। अगर आप 5 साल कॉन्जिक्यूटिवली अपना बैलेंस शीट, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, एनुअल रिपोर्ट आरओसी के पास डिपॉजिट नहीं किए, आरओसी जाएगा एनसीएलटी, बोलेगा ये 5 साल का डिफॉल्टर है, इस कंपनी को तुरंत बंद करो। इफ कंपनी एक्ट अगेंस्ट सॉवरेनिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ इंडिया, आपका कंपनी इंडिया में है, इंडिया में रजिस्टर्ड है, पाकिस्तान के लिए काम कर रहा है, ऐसा काम कर रहा है जो पाकिस्तानियों के लिए हेल्पफुल हो रहा है, तो उसको तुरंत बंद करो। सिक कंपनी, आपका कंपनी सिक बन गया है और उस कंपनी का रिवाइवल और पॉसिबल नहीं है, उस केस में आपको कंपनी को बंद करना पड़ता है। बात समझ में आ रहा है क्या? दीज आर द केसेस इन विच ए कंपनी शुड बी कंपल्सरीली बट इज वाइंड अप बाय एनसीएलटी। लेकिन एनसीएलटी के पास आपको एप्लीकेशन लगाना पड़ेगा। कौन एप्लीकेशन लगा सकता है? कंपनी खुद लगा सकता है, अगर शेयर होल्डर राजी हो जाए। क्रेडिटर लगा सकता है, उसका शेयर होल्डर्स लगा सकते हैं। रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ कंपनी जा सकता है, या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट जा सकता है एनसीएलटी के पास। ये सब ग्राउंड है, इसमें से कोई भी ग्राउंड है तो एनसीएलटी कंपनी को तुरंत बंद करने का ऑर्डर दे सकता है। बात समझ में आ रहा है? कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ द कंपनी। नेक्स्ट हम बात करेंगे वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ द कंपनी। कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप में कंपनी बंद होना नहीं चाहता है, लेकिन जबरदस्ती उसको बंद किया जाता है। वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप में हम लोग आपस में मिलकर खुशी खुशी कंपनी को बंद करेंगे, उसको बोलते हैं वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप ऑफ द कंपनी। कंपनी में दो तरह का लोग होते हैं, एक होते हैं मेंबर या शेयर होल्डर जो अपना पैसा लगाए, और एक होता है क्रेडिटर जो कंपनी को लोन दिया है। अगर मेंबर या क्रेडिटर खुशी खुशी मिलकर कंपनी बंद करने का डिसीजन ले लिए, उसको बोलते हैं वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। यहां पर कोर्ट के थ्रू ऑर्डर में कंपनी बंद नहीं होता है, अपने आप कंपनी बंद होने के लिए वो प्रोसीजर शुरू करते हैं, उसको बोलते हैं वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। तो वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप कौन कर सकता है? आइदर उस कंपनी का मेंबर कर सकते हैं, या नहीं तो उस कंपनी का क्रेडिटर कर सकते हैं। मेंबर कब करेगा? मेंबर मतलब शेयर होल्डर कब करेगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट है और खुशी खुशी मरना चाहता है। सॉल्वेंट का मतलब जो अपना डेट को पेमेंट करने का हैसियत रखता है। क्रेडिटर कब करेगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट नहीं है, उस टाइम में खुशी खुशी चाहे तो क्रेडिटर भी उसको बंद कर सकता है। तो मेंबर, देयर आर टू टाइप ऑफ वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप, मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप एंड क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप कब होगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट है। क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप कब होगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट नहीं है। तो दीज आर दी वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप दो तरह का होता है, मैं बताया था, मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप एंड क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। मैं ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया हूं, मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप कब होगा? जब कंपनी क्या है? सॉल्वेंट है। और क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप कब होगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट नहीं है। तो लिखेंगे फर्स्ट, member voluntary winding up. A member's voluntary winding up takes place when the company is solvent. Solvent का मतलब उसके हाथ में इतना असेट है, क्रेडिटर को पेमेंट करने के बाद और पैसा बचेगा। तुम्हारा असेट 10 लाख का है, क्रेडिटर 7 लाख का है, तो तुम सॉल्वेंट हो। तुम्हारा असेट 10 लाख है, क्रेडिटर को पाना है 12 लाख, तो तुम सॉल्वेंट नहीं हो। तो जो कंपनी सॉल्वेंट है वो कंपनी का मेंबर वाइंडिंग अप कर सकते हैं वॉल्यूमटरीली, उसको बोलते हैं मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। इस टाइप के वाइंडिंग अप में कंपनी का डायरेक्टर को एक सर्टिफिकेट देना पड़ेगा, एक डिक्लेरेशन देना पड़ेगा, यस आवर कंपनी इज सॉल्वेंट एंड वी मस्ट वाइंड अप द कंपनी एज पर मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। एक डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ सॉल्वेंसी चाहिए। यहां पर जहां पर तुम डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ सॉल्वेंसी नहीं दे पा रहे हो, वहां पर जो वाइंडिंग अप होता है उसको बोलते हैं क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। तो मेंबर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप गया, फिर आया क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूमटरी वाइंडिंग अप। व्हेन ए कंपनी proposes to winding up voluntarily and the directors are not in a position to make statutory declaration of solvency. सॉल्वेंसी सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दे पा रहे हैं डायरेक्टर, उस केस में द वाइंडिंग अप इज क्रेडिटर्स वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप। तो वाइंडिंग अप दो तरह का, कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप, वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप। कंपल्सरी वाइंडिंग अप में 6 सिचुएशन है, वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप में 2 सिचुएशन है। एक है मेंबर वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप, क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप। मेंबर वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप कब होगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट होगा। क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप कब होगा? जब कंपनी सॉल्वेंट नहीं है, तो उस केस में क्रेडिटर वॉल्यूंटरी वाइंडिंग अप होगा। बात समझ में आ रहा है? जब वाइंडिंग अप होता है तो क्या होता है? जब वाइंडिंग अप होता है तो कंपनी का एसेट को सेल कर दिया जाता है। कौन सेल करता है? लिक्विडेटर सेल करता है। तो लिक्विडेटर कंपनी का एसेट को सेल करता है। लिक्विडेटर को कौन अपॉइंट करता है? कोर्ट अपॉइंट करता है। जो कंपनी का वाइंडिंग अप होगा उस कंपनी में एक लिक्विडेटर अपॉइंट होगा ही होगा। तो लिक्विडेटर एसेट सेल करने के बाद उसके हाथ में जो पैसा है वो पैसे से पेमेंट करना शुरू करेगा। पहला पेमेंट करेगा वो ओवरराइडिंग प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट्स, फिर पेमेंट करेगा लिक्विडेशन कॉस्ट, फिर पेमेंट करेगा प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट्स, फिर पेमेंट करेगा डिबेंचर होल्डर्स, फिर पेमेंट करेगा अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर्स को, फिर बचेगा तो पेमेंट करेगा शेयर होल्डर्स को, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटरीज को। शेयर होल्डर में से पहला पेमेंट होगा किसको? प्रिफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स को, फिर बचेगा तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को। दीज आर द सीक्वेंस ऑफ पेमेंट। फर्स्ट पेमेंट होगा प्रिफरेंस ओवरराइडिंग प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट, सेकेंड पेमेंट होगा लिक्विडेशन कॉस्ट, थर्ड पेमेंट होगा प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट, फोर्थ पेमेंट होगा डिबेंचर्स को, नेक्स्ट पेमेंट होगा अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर्स को, फिर पैसा बचेगा तो शेयर होल्डर्स लेंगे या कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटर्स लेंगे, उसमें से पहला पैसा प्रिफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स लेंगे, फिर पैसा बचेगा तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स लेंगे। दीज आर दी सीक्वेंस ऑफ पेमेंट। But what is overriding preferential payment? This is the payment to workmen, payment to secured creditor. What is preferential payment? These are overriding preferential payment. Preferential payment क्या क्या है? All tax revenue, wage salary of employee, holiday remuneration, these are preferential payments. तो पहले होगा overriding preferential payment, फिर होगा ओवरराइडिंग प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट क्या है? वर्कमैन ड्यू, कोई बाकी है वर्कमैन ड्यू, प्रिफरेंशियल क्रेडिटर्स उनका पेमेंट, फिर कॉस्ट ऑफ लिक्विडेशन, फिर प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट्स। प्रिफरेंशियल पेमेंट्स में गवर्नमेंट ड्यूज, एम्प्लॉय ड्यूज एटसेट्रा। फिर पैसा बचेगा डिबेंचर वाला लेगा, फिर पैसा बचेगा अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर लेगा, फिर लास्ट में पैसा बचेगा तो शेयर होल्डर्स लेंगे। These are the sequence of payment at the time of liquidation of the company. Okay. गवर्नमेंट ड्यूज का मतलब टैक्स बाकी है, गवर्नमेंट का टैक्स बाकी है, जीएसटी बाकी है, ऑल दीज आर गवर्नमेंट ड्यूज। दीज आर द सीक्वेंस ऑफ पेमेंट। सो दिस इज वाइंडिंग अप। अभी मैं आपको अनम्यूट कर रहा हूं, किसी को वाइंडिंग अप में कुछ पूछना है तो पूछ सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम ऑडिटर के बारे में पढ़ेंगे।
सर सॉल्वेंट
कॉस्ट ऑफ लिक्विडेशन माने लिक्विडेटर जेतेबेले किनिबो बिकिबो तार तो किछि खर्च हबो ना, ता कहे कॉस्ट ऑफ लिक्विडेशन। स्टाम्प ड्यूटी किनिबो, ये किनिबो।
सर सॉल्वेंट मीनिंग आउथरेटी कहबे?
सॉल्वेंट माने मने करो तम पाखरे एसेट अछि 10 लाख टका आ तुमको पेमेंट करबा को अछि 8 लाख। तुम दुकान रे बाकिया अछि 8 लाख, दुकान रे संपत्ति अछि 10 लाख। ताले संपत्ति को बिकी देलो 10 पाइलो, बाकिया 8 देई देलो, आहुरी बळिलाणी 2 लाख, ताको अजे सॉल्वेंट। किंतु दुकान रे एसेट अछि 10 लाख, ବାକିଆ ଅଛି 15 ଲକ୍ଷ ଆସେଟ ବିକିଲା ପରେ ବି ବାକିଆ ବାଲାଙ୍କୁ ପେମେଣ୍ଟ କରିବାକୁ ତମ ପାଖରେ ପଇସା ନାହିଁ ତାକୁ କୁହାଯାଏ ଇନସଲଭେଣ୍ଟ ବା ନଟ୍ ସଲଭେଣ୍ଟ। କୁହନ୍ତୁ। ଏନି
सर अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर्स माने
ଅନସିକ୍योर्ड ମାନେ ଯାହାକୁ କିଛି ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ଯୋଉ କ୍ରେଡିଟର ନେଇନାହିଁ ଦେଇନାହିଁ ମାନେ ଆମେ ମନେକର ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକଠୁ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ଠୁ ଲୋନ ଆଣିଲେ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ବନ୍ଧକ ଦେଇଦେଲେ ତାହେଲେ ସେଇଟା ହେଲା ସିକ୍ୟୁର୍ଡ କ୍ରେଡିଟର। ଯଦି ବିନା ବନ୍ଧକରେ ମୁହଁ ଦେଖିକିରି ଆମକୁ କିଏ ପଇସା ଦେଇଛି ସେଟା କୁହାଯାଏ ଅନସିକ୍ୟୁର୍ଡ କ୍ରେଡିଟର।
माने कंपनी रे सेमति भी पैसा दियंदी बाकी रे
ବାକିରେ ଦିଅନ୍ତିନି ଜିନିଷ ବାକିରେ କିଣନ୍ତିନି
ବାକି ଦିଅନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ତାର କଣ୍ଡିସନ ଥାଏ କି ବ୍ଲାଙ୍କ ଚେକ୍ ଫ୍ଲାଙ୍କ ଚେକ୍ ଟାଇପ ର ବି ଥାଏ।
କଣ ଥିବ ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ଯଦି କିଛି ଦେଇନାହଁ ତାହେଲେ ଅନସିକ୍ୟୁର୍ଡ ଯଦି ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି କିଛି ଦେଇଛ ତାହେଲେ ସିକ୍ୟୁର୍ଡ।
ସାର୍ ୟା ରିଲେଟେଡ क्वेश्चन କଣ ଥାଏ ମାନେ ପଚାରିଥାଏ କଣ?
क्वेश्चन पचारियो वाइंडिंग अप कौन वाइंडिंग अप केते प्रकार रो और वाइंडिंग अप बेले को सीक्वेंस रे पेमेंट हुए मु क्वेश्चन डाकी दे बस तुम वाइंडिंग अप बुझ परले तो
ଆଜ୍ଞା
नेक्स्ट क्लास कहार अछि काली सकाळे हमें पुन पढिबा ऑडिटर बस अकाउंट्स एंड ऑडिट ठीक अछि नेक्स्ट क्लास कहार अछि कहले मु ताकू ये कर दी जानती। अच्छा हमर ये अछंती कि जो डीडीसी मैनेजमेंट ना नाही डीडीसी मैनेजमेंट ना अविनाश महंत किए मु तांको दे दे पळुछु।
ओके सर।
सर
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
Good evening, sir.
Am I audible clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Sir,
Yes.
I have to make you host actually. I am Avinash Mohanka.
Okay, no issues. You can make me. Okay.
I'm looking for the option actually. I am not that much familiar with.
In your name, actually, in right hand side, 3 dots are there. Okay.
Okay.
You just select my name, and right hand side, 3 dots are there.
Okay. Let me check.
Make a host, make a co-host. Like that, these options are there. You can make me. You just select my name. That's all. My name is there. Go to the participant list.
Yes, sir. Participant list.
Then my name, you just search my name, G Sahu. I'm speaking. I think.
Your name is there.
Okay.
Okay,
So
make host.
my name, just right hand side, 3 dots are there.
I made you host, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So everyone, let us start. So once again, here I'm going to share my screen. Is my screen visible to all of you? Am I audible?
Sir, yes, sir.
Is my
Sir,
screen
you are
visible?
audible. Sir, you are audible, but
Now.
now your screen is visible.
Now my screen is visible. Okay. Okay. So what is visible in my screen?
Break-even point.
Break-even point. So last class, in our last session, we have already discussed about this break-even point. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
How to compute this break-even point? Break-even point can be computed. What do you mean by break-even point? Any idea? Can you remember?
When the cost,
Cost and
when the
sales are
profit or
same.
loss is zero, sir. Call
Very good. That means total sales must be equal with your total
Cost.
cost. Okay. Sales revenue is exactly with the total cost. That means it is a point where no profit and no loss is there. So once we are getting this point, we can able to fix what should be our profit margin. On the basis of that, we can able to take various business decisions, again also quote for pricing. Okay. So in order to determine the break-even point can be determined in 2 ways in terms of quantity, as I have already told you. This is with respect to quantity. Yes or no? With respect to quantity. That means in terms of units. How we are going to determine this break-even point? Fixed cost divided by contribution per unit contribution. And the second one is about the amount of sales. That means amount in terms of break-even point. So what should be the amount of break-even point where total sales must be equal with our total revenue? So the formula is fixed cost by PV ratio into 100. And some of your friend in our last session also mentioned that, sir, this BP in rupees is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution into sales. How? So this is in terms of rupees, means in terms of amount. How? Please remember, this is the formula as I have already mentioned, that BEP in rupees is equal to fixed cost divided by PV ratio into 100. Haan ya nahi? Yes or no? That is given. So PV ratio can be replaced by PV ratio is equal to contribution by sales into 100. Yes or no? Contribution by sales into 100. So instead of PV ratio, I can write contribution by sales into 100. Here is 100. So 100 cancel out. It can be fixed cost by contribution into sales. हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? Yes or no? हाँ या नहीं? Did you understand? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. Sir, once again, please.
Once again, please. So you know the formula of PV ratio. We have already discussed in our previous session. What is PV ratio? It is equal to C stands for contribution by sales into 100. Yes or no? This is the formula of PV ratio. So here in the second formula, whenever we are talking about break-even point in terms of rupees, that means in terms of amount, it is the total fixed cost. That means fixed cost divided by PV ratio. So instead of PV ratio, what I am doing, I am just writing this formula: contribution by sales into 100. So this is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution by sales into 100 into 100. Because this is fixed cost by PV ratio into 100, that is there. So fixed cost, this remain intact. So instead of PV ratio, what I am writing? I am writing this one: contribution by sales into 100. So 100,
Yes.
100 cancel out. It will be contribution by sales and fixed cost by contribution, and sales will be multiplied. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Everyone? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Did you understand? Shall we proceed
Yes,
to
sir.
next? Yes, very good. So let us take one example for your better understanding actually. So today we are going to discuss about calculation of desired sales and desired profit by taking this break-even analysis into consideration. Okay. So how to compute this sales when we are going to achieve the desired profit. Okay. So calculation of sales for desired profit. Let's say a particular firm or particular company wants to earn certain amount of profit. Wants to earn, that means it desired to earn certain amount of profit. When any firm desired to earn certain amount of profit, what should be the sales? What should be the sales in order to achieve the desired amount of profit? Okay. So in order to achieve the desired amount of profit, how to determine the break-even point? We know break-even point means sales. Break-even sales. What should be the break-even sales in terms of rupees? Just before we have already taken. This is fixed cost by PV ratio. Yes or no? This is fixed cost by PV ratio. So this BP in terms of rupees means this is our desired sales. This is our desired sales we are going to achieve when we need desired profit. If we need desired profit, what will do? We have to add here fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. Okay. So this is our break-even point. Break-even point means where there will be no loss, no gain. That means this is our sales in terms of rupees, in terms of amount, where there will be no loss, no gain or no profit. If we need some desired amount of profit, what will do? So this sale will be our desired sales when desired profit are given. If desired profit is given, we can able to find out the desired sales by taking this particular model into consideration. Is it clear? So this is very, very important. Please remember. Okay. So if desired profit is given, we can able to find out the desired sales. If desired sales is given, desired profit is not given, we can able to find out the desired profit also. Let's say we want to sell this much. If we are going to sell this much, what will be our desired profit? That we can also find out by taking this particular model or particular formula into consideration. Clear? So if we take one example, you can able to understand. Okay. So let's say here we can take one example. Example is like this. So data are given. That means these are some given set of data. Given set of data. So what are the data given? First one, fixed cost is given. That is rupees 12,000. Rupees 12,000. That means total fixed cost for the period is given rupees 12,000. And selling price is given. That is rupees 12 per unit. Selling price is rupees 12 per unit. And variable cost is given. Again, variable cost is also given in terms of unit. That is given rupees 9 per unit. Okay. So selling price is given rupees 12 per unit sale is rupees 12, per unit variable cost is rupees 9, total fixed cost is given 12,000. Now, what will be the amount of sale? What is the question? What will be the amount of sales? What will be the amount of sales? If it is desired to earn a profit of rupees 6,000, if it is desired to earn a profit of rupees 6,000. Okay. So this is the bit number 1. What is bit number 2? What will be the amount of profit to be earned? What will be the amount of DP? DP stands for desired profit. If sales is rupees 1,08,000. Are you getting? Are you getting or not getting? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
So fixed cost is given, selling price per unit is given, and variable cost per unit is given. Right now, by taking this particular model into consideration, this one, okay, we are going to find out the amount of desired profit, the amount of sales when desired profit is given, and the amount of desired profit when sales is given. Clear? So, if this question, first you tell me here, first you just tell me what we need. This is the formula. In this formula, what do we need? In order to determine the sales, we need fixed cost, we need desired profit, we need PV ratio. Yes or no? So in this particular question, fixed cost is given. And in the bit number 1, if you look at the bit number 1, desired profit is given. What is the amount of profit you want to earn? That is 6,000. Yes or no? If you go to this bit A, fixed cost is given. Fixed cost is given 12,000. That is given in the question. Desired profit is given. That is 6,000 rupees. Okay. What else you need? You need PV ratio. So in order to determine the PV ratio, what is the formula? What is the formula to determine the PV ratio? Contribution by sales into 100. Yes or no? Contribution by sales into 100. So by taking, how to determine this contribution? Contribution is the difference between sales price minus variable cost. Yes or no? Contribution is the difference between sales price minus variable cost. So sales price is given 12 rupees. Variable cost per unit is given. How much? 9 rupees. So contribution will be 12 minus 9. That is equal to 3 rupees per unit. 3 rupees per unit. That is the contribution. So contribution per unit we can take. That is 3. Contribution, sorry, sales per unit. Sales per unit is given in the question. That is 12 into 100. So कितना आ रहा है?
25%.
25%. Very good. So PV ratio also we got. We got the PV ratio 25%. Right now, what will be the sales? We know. What do we know? We have sales. In order to determine the desired amount of sales, this is the formula. Fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. Yes or no?
72,000, sir.
Whatever it means. So what is the fixed cost? Fixed cost is given 12,000. That is given in the question. Desired profit is given 6,000 divided by 25%. 25% means 0.25. Yes or no?
1/4. Okay, sir.
Okay. 0.25. How much you are getting?
72,000, sir.
That is in terms of rupees. Clear? Sorry. That is equal to rupees 72,000. Is it clear to all of you? This is all about the answer of bit number A, first bit. Clear? So what will the amount of sales here? The amount of sales will be 72,000 in order to earn a profit of 6,000. Clear? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So by taking the same formula, this same model into consideration, you just find out what is the desired profit. If sales is given, here sales is given. Here what is given? Sales is given, fixed cost is given, desired profit is not given. This is not given. PV ratio is also given. We have already computed PV ratio, that is 25% or 0.25. Clear? Just compute and tell me. This is B. What is given? Sales is given. Desired sales is given 1,08,000. Yes or no? And what else given? Fixed cost is given. Fixed cost is given 12,000. And PV ratio we have already computed. That is 25% or 0.25. Yes or no? Now you just find out what is the profit, amount of profit to be earned when sales is 1,08,000.
4,20,000, sir.
Sir, 4,20,000.
4,20,000, sir.
4,20,000.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
DP means desired profit.
15,000,
Yes,
Sir, 15,000.
15,000.
15,000 तो अगर होगा तो सही हो सकता है। क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे हमारा सेल्स हो रहा है 1,08,000। यू आर सेइंग सर आवर प्रॉफिट इज 4,22,000। अगर 1,08,000 सेल करके हमको 4,22,000 का प्रॉफिट मिल रहा है, कैसे मिलेगा? सेल्स से प्रॉफिट ज्यादा हो सकता है क्या? सेल्स से प्रॉफिट ज्यादा हो सकता है क्या?
नहीं sir.
Okay.
Sales
So
नीचे होगा.
what we'll do? We are simply replacing this one. What is the sales here? Sales is given 1,08,000. Okay, sales is equal to fixed cost. Fixed cost is 12,000 plus desired profit, that is DP, divided by PV ratio. What is the PV ratio? 0.25. You just solve this. After solving this, I hope you can able to get the answer. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
1,08,000 into 0.25 जितना आएगा उसे फिर क्या करेंगे? माइनस करेंगे 12,000। यस और नो? ताकि हमको
Yes,
क्या
sir.
मिल जाएगा? डिजायर्ड प्रॉफिट मिल जाएगा। हाँ या नहीं?
Yes, sir.
So what is the desired profit?
15,000.
15,000. How did you get 15,000? So
1,08,000 multiplied by 0.25. It's 27,000 minus 12,000 equals to 15,000.
Okay. That is, this is 27,000. Okay, 27,000 minus 12,000, we are getting 15,000. Is it clear to all of you? Everyone? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Take it. So, this is how we are going to compute, when desired profit is given, we can able to compute the sales, desired sales. If desired sales is given, we can also compute the desired profit. What should be the profit? Clear? So here I am giving you another question. So what is the question? This is the question. That is selling price is given 150 rupees. Rupees 150 per unit. Okay? Per unit selling price is given 150. What I'm writing, is it visible to all of you?
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Variable cost is given rupees 90 per unit. Okay? So per unit variable cost is given rupees 90 and per unit selling price is given 150. And fixed cost for the period is given, that is total rupees 6 lakhs. Rupees 6 lakhs. So 6 lakh का fixed cost दिया हुआ है. Variable cost per unit is given 90 rupees and selling price is given 150 rupees. Now, you have to find out what is the BEP. What is BEP? BEP means break-even point. Second one, what will be the selling price per unit? What will be the selling price per unit? Selling price per unit. If BEP is equal to 12,000 units. If BEP is equal to 12,000 units. Did you understand the question? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Everyone,
Yes,
did you
sir.
understand the question? What is BEP? So how to find out the BEP? How to find out the BEP? We can find out the BEP in terms of quantity and in terms of amount also. Okay. So here, if you look at the question, you can able to see here contribution per unit is given. Yes or no? How to determine contribution per unit? Selling price minus variable cost. So selling price per unit is given 150 minus variable cost per unit is given, that is 90. So 150 minus 90 is equal to 60. Rupees 60 is the contribution per unit. Okay. So first one, what will be the BEP? So here we are going to find out BEP in units. That means in quantity. Why? We can apply the formula that is equal to fixed cost or total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. Clear? So what is the total fixed cost? Total fixed cost is given 6 lakh. Contribution per unit we have already computed, that is 60 rupees per unit. So 6 lakhs divided by 60, how much you are getting? 10,000 units.
10,000.
Clear? So this is our
Yes, sir.
BEP. This is the solution of the first part of the question. Again, what will be the selling price per unit if BEP is 12,000? If BEP is 12,000, you know, you just look at this particular formula once again. You know, BEP is equal to fixed cost by contribution per unit. Yes or no? Contribution per unit. Right now, if you look at this particular model, what is given in the question? 12,000 unit. BEP is given. BEP is given. So BEP is given means BEP is given 12,000. Okay. And fixed cost is already given in the question, that is 6 lakh divided by contribution. Contribution means contribution per unit. Contribution means what? Contribution per unit. Okay. Now you just tell me what is the amount of contribution per unit. What will be contribution per unit? If we solve this, it will be 6 lakh divided by 12,000. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what is the contribution amount per unit?
50, sir.
50. So this is equal to rupees 50 per unit contribution. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Okay. So in the second bit, what it is asking, we are going to find out what is the selling price per unit. So as you know, contribution is equal to selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So in this question, though selling price is given, variable cost is given, but when this selling price is given for this 10,000 unit, not for 12,000 unit. Please remember, we are going to find out when 12,000 units BP will be there, what will be the selling price. So here we got contribution is equal to 50, selling price we are going to find out, and variable cost that is given in the question, that is 90. Okay.
140, sir, 140.
So selling price will be rupees 140. When our BP is 12,000 unit, what will be the selling price per unit? Selling price per unit will be rupees 140. So this is our answer. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Everyone, if you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear. Take. So next, we are going to discuss about another concept under this break-even analysis, that is margin of safety. Margin of safety we are going to find out. What is margin of safety? Please remember, margin of safety means it is the difference between actual sales and break-even sales. Actual sales and break-even sales. That means the sales we have achieved under break-even analysis, that means at break-even point, and what is the sales we have already achieved actually. Okay, so let's say our actual sale is 1 lakh and our break-even sale is, let's say, 80,000. So what will be margin of safety? Margin of safety is 20,000. Okay, so margin of safety is 20,000. Clear? So margin of safety indicates the soundness of a business. It indicates the soundness of a business. How? Let's say there are two companies. Company X is there, and here company Y is there. Just a minute. Okay. So company X is there, and here company Y is there. So let's say actual sales. This is actual sales. Actual sales of both the companies are given. Here for companies X, 1,20,000 is given. For company Y, 60,000 is given. Clear? This is the actual sales achieved by the company X and Y respectively. Now, as per the computation, let's say break-even sales of both the companies are also given. Companies X, both break-even sales or break-even point is 40,000, and companies Y break-even sales or break-even point is also 40,000. Same break-even sales are there. Now, what will be margin of safety? What will be margin of safety? Tell me. Actual sales minus break-even sales. Here we are getting 80,000. Here we are getting 20,000. Can you tell me which company is having more margin of safety? The company X is having more margin of safety. That means we can say the company X is in better position. The soundness of company X is better than the soundness of the company Y. When margin of safety is large, it means the business can still make profits after a serious fall in sales. If there will be any fall in sales, where the company is having more margin of safety, still then it indicates that it can able to make the profit. Okay. So if we are going to find out the percentage, margin of safety in terms of percentage. So how we are going to find out the margin of safety in terms of percentages? That means amount of margin of safety divided by sales. So here 80,000 divided by 1,20,000, and here 20,000 divided by 60,000. You can able to find out the percentage. By taking the percentage, you can also compare. The company is having more percentage of margin of safety is always better than the other. Clear? So,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, that marginal sales by sales into 100 हबनी की
100
percentage काढू.
percentage आपण पाहिजे आपण.
Yes.
Whenever we are talking about percentage, that means you have to multiply it with 100. Otherwise, if you are getting in point also, you can convert them into percentage. Okay. So here, by taking this margin of safety into consideration, we can also determine the profit. How to determine the profit? There is a clear-cut relationship of margin of safety with profit. So how we can able to find out the profit? If we have already computed margin of safety, this margin of safety can be multiplied with PV ratio. Okay. If margin of safety ratio is there, PV ratio is there, you can multiply these two and you can able to get the profit ratio. If amount of margin of safety is there and PV ratio is there, you can able to compute the profit also. So in order to compute the profit, what we can do, we can compute that margin of safety, profit is equal to margin of safety into PV ratio. Other way, by transposition, we can say margin of safety is equal to profit by PV ratio. Yes or no? If profit is equal to margin of safety into PV ratio, so margin of safety will be profit divided by PV ratio. Clear or not clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this way we can able to find out, by applying this particular formula, we can able to find out the margin of safety. When profit is given, PV ratio is given, we can able to find out what is the margin of safety achieved by the firm. Where like this type of situations are there in your organization, let's say 2 or 3 departments they are producing, or 2 or 3 factories are there, they are also producing. So you can able to find out the margin of safety of all the departments or all the factories. By taking the margin of safety, you can able to know which department is performing better and who is going to achieve the targeted profit in the near future also. Okay. So this is all about margin of safety. Now, this is about the algebraic calculation of break-even analysis, as we have already discussed. Okay, by taking the break-even analysis into consideration, we have already computed the desired amount of sales when desired profit is given, and desired profit when desired amount of sales are given. Okay. Again, we have also discussed about the margin of safety. So this is the margin of safety as we have already discussed. So it is the difference between actual sales and break-even sales. Clear? So margins of safety, actual sales minus break-even sales. And how to determine the margin of safety? As I have already told you, profit by PV ratio is the formula to determine or to compute the margin of safety. So this is all about the algebraic computation of break-even analysis. Right now, we are going to discuss about this graphical representation of break-even analysis. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what
sir.
is visible? Is
Yes,
my
sir.
break-even analysis graph is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So look at this particular graph. By looking at this particular graph, we can able to understand the break-even analysis. Clear? So, just a minute. Okay. So this is x-axis, you know, and this is y-axis. In x-axis, what we are taking? We are taking the units of output or units of production and sales. It may be volume of sales or it may be volume of productions. Okay. And in unit 1, if it is unit of production, that means units of production, that is quantity of production. So here we can take the cost of production. If it is volume of sales, here we can say we can take the sales revenue. Sales revenue. Okay. So cost and sales revenue are there in y-axis. Units of production or cost of production as well as sales are there in x-axis. Clear? So x and y-axis intersect to each other in a particular point. That point is known as margin. Sorry, origin, not margin. This point is known as origin. They meet each other. Okay. So here, according to break-even analysis, we know it deals with two costs. One is fixed cost and second one is variable cost. Yes or no? Marginal costing and break-even analysis deals with two costs. One is fixed cost, another one is variable cost. So fixed cost is always parallel to the quantity of output or volume of sales. Whatever may be the sales. If you are selling 0 units, the cost will remain unchanged. If you are selling 10,000 units, the cost will also remain unchanged. If you are producing 0 units, the fixed cost will remain same. If you are producing 1,000 units, so it will same. So that's why this line is, look at this line. This particular line, are you getting? This particular line is the fixed cost line. It is parallel to x-axis. It is remain fixed. If it is, let's say 20 rupees, 20,000 or 2,000, whatever it may be, it will remain fixed up to a certain level of activity or up to a certain period. Clear? Did you understand? So fixed cost will remain parallel to x-axis. So above the fixed cost, variable cost is there. So look here, this is the variable cost line. Variable cost, what do we mean by variable cost? Which can change. That means per unit of variable cost will remain fixed. But when the volume of the production or volume of the sale will change, the total variable cost will change. Yes or no? When we are producing 0, our variable cost here, it is 0. It is 0. When we are producing some amount, again, it is going to increase. It is going to increase like this. So it is directly proportional to the units of production. When the units of production or volume of sales will increase, the variable cost will increase. Yes or no? So this is the variable cost and this is the fixed cost. We know. So when I want to shift this variable cost line to above the fixed cost line, I will get the total cost. Because total cost is the sum total of fixed cost plus variable cost. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fixed cost and variable cost. This is 0. This is 0. And this is my fixed cost. This is a certain level. So here I have to add this variable cost line. I want to shift to the total cost. So it will coincide. This particular line will coincide with the total cost. Yes or no? So total cost is equal to sum total of fixed cost plus variable cost. So this is all about the total cost line. This is the total cost line. Clear? That means, suppose here I want to take a particular point. Let's say I am producing here. This is my level of production. So what will be my cost? My cost will be here. If we add this particular point, my cost will be here. Yes or no? This is my total cost. So this total cost is the sum total of fixed cost up to this particular point to this particular point. Okay, this to this is my fixed cost, and this particular point to this particular point is my variable cost. So what is the total cost? Total cost is the sum total of fixed cost plus variable cost. Yes or no? This is my total cost line. And if you look at this dotted line indicates my sales revenue line. This indicates my sales revenue line. So it will start from the zero. My sales, when my sales is zero, it will be zero. Just a minute. I want to take actually 1 minute break. Just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this dotted line is my total sales revenue line. So my sales revenue may be zero. It may be 5 units, 10 units, 20 units like that. When my sales will increase, it will rise. So after certain point of time, first it will start from origin. Okay. So after certain point of time, it will cross the, it will intersect to the total cost line. So this is the particular point where my sales revenue line intersect the total cost line. This particular point is known as E. Okay, that means this is the point. E is the particular point where total sales is equal to total cost. हाँ या नहीं?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So from
sir.
this particular point, perpendicularly, if I draw the line to the x-axis, what I am getting, this is my BP in terms of units. Are you getting my point? Again, in horizontal, if I'll draw the line to y-axis, where it is touching, this particular point is known as my BP in terms of rupees. That means amount. Clear? And just total cost line below to the at initial period, if you look at, this is my total cost line. Okay, so I'm just changing my pen colors. Okay, so this is my total cost line and this is my total sales line. So at initial level, total cost line here, look here, this is the total cost line. It is above to the total sales line. Yes or no? That means here the total cost is more than the total sales. That means this area is known as my
Loss area.
loss area. हाँ या नहीं?
Yes, sir.
At initial level, my sales is less, my cost is more. So this is my loss. Again, above the break-even point, here, this is the break-even point. Above the break-even point, here I am getting some area where my total sales line, this total sales line is above the total cost line. So this area is known as
Profit area.
profit area. Did you understand? Again, at the break-even point, when total sales line or sales revenue as well as total cost line intersect each other, again they will move upward. So when they're moving upward, they're forming one angle. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting my point? This particular point is E. Let's say here I can say this is A, this is B. So AEB, one angle they are creating, AEB. हाँ या नहीं? This particular
Yes, sir.
angle is known as angle of incidence.
Incidence.
Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That means when the angle of incidence will be more angle can be measured in terms of
Degree.
what? Unit,
Units. Okay, okay.
hour, meter,
Degree.
centimeter, degree. Very good.
Degree.
So when the angle will be more, let's say right now, right now, as per my measurement, it is 30 degree. When it will be more, it will be 60 degree or it will be 70 degree. That means when angle of incidence will be more, what will happen? The sales line, there will be a large gap between sales line and total cost line. That means it will be a big difference. When big difference will be there, the firm will earn more amount of profit. So the larger angle of incidence indicates the firm is earned larger amount of profit. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is the graphical representation of break-even analysis. Okay. And another concept I want to tell you here. We have already discussed about margin of safety just before. Yes or no? So what is margin of safety? Margin of safety is the difference between actual sales and
Break-even sales.
good. Actual sales and break-even sales. Okay. We have already determined that this is my break-even sales. This is my break-even sales. Suppose this particular line. Here I am just naming this particular line as, let's say, it is GH. This is a particular line. Here EF. Here I am writing, this is particular point F. EF. EF is the particular line which indicates my BP, break-even point in units. And GS is my actual sales line. So what is my actual sales? Actual sales is the GS line. Are you getting my point? And
Yes,
my
sir.
break-even sales is the EF line. Did you understand where EF line is there? This is E, this is F. This is G, this is H. Are you getting?
Yes,
So
sir.
here my actual sale is more than the break-even sales. Yes or no? From this
Yes, sir.
origin to this point, this is my actual sales. हाँ या नहीं? This origin to F, this is my break-even sales. What is the difference? This much is the difference. From F to S, this particular gap is my difference. This difference is known as, this particular gap is known as my margin of safety. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Margin of safety is the difference between actual sales and break-even sales. Is it clear to all of you? Up to this?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
this is all. Yes, please. Someone
Yes,
has
sir.
asked. Any query from your side?
No, sir.
No. Clear? So this is the graphical representation of break-even analysis. So with the help of this break-even analysis, we have already discussed about the contribution, again break-even point in terms of quantity, in terms of amount, margin of safety, angle of incidence. So these are the various concepts we have already discussed under cost, volume, and profit analysis. Clear? So now we are going to very briefly discuss about how this marginal costing techniques helps in taking managerial decisions in various areas. Okay, so margin of safety we have already discussed. So this is my concluding remark. So marginal costing is very useful tool in the hands of the management, and it is extensively used for cost control, decision making, and profit planning. Okay, what should be the cost of production? What should be the volume of sales, and what should be the desired amount of profit to be achieved by the. Finally, we can say that absorption costing is total cost technique, but marginal costing is the variable cost technique. Clear? Did you understand? So
Yes, sir.
Next, we are going to discuss about just a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. We are going to right now discuss about very briefly about the application of marginal costing in managerial making. Okay. So what are the areas where we can able to take the various managerial decisions with the help of this marginal costing? Clear? So here we are going to discuss about, is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So right now we are going to discuss about this marginal costing and decision making. What are the area where managers can able to take various business decisions? Clear? So here I am writing few areas where manager can able to take the decision.
Sir, heading रे कौन लिखा है जी?
Marginal costing and decision making. How managers can able to take the various business decisions with the help of this marginal costing technique. First, fixation of selling price. We are producing goods and services. In order to fix the selling price, we can use the marginal costing technique. Clear? As a manager, exploring the new market. Exploring the new market. When we want to launch a new product, we can able to explore the new market with the help of this marginal costing technique. Again, we can able to take make or buy decision. Make or buy decision. Whether we are going to make it or whether we are going to buy it. Again, we can able to take the product mix decision. Product mix decision. Product mix decision means what? Let's say a particular farm is producing some n number of product. You know HUL, Hindustan Unilever Limited.
Yes.
Yes or no? So it is marketing various types of products. So many FMCG products are there, fast moving consumer goods are there. Let's say particular business organization is marketing or it is producing these 4 types of goods. Out of these 4 types of goods, what should be the sales from this first category? What should be the sales from the second category? What should be the sales from the third category? What should be the sales from the fourth category? So that we can able to achieve the maximum amount of profit. Clear? So this kind of product mix decision can be also taken with the application of marginal costing technique. Again, another decision like operate plant and shut down. Operate plant and shut down. Okay. Whether we are going to operate the plant or we are going to shut down the plant. So this kind of decision we can able to take with the help of this marginal costing. Okay. So these are the various areas where marginal costing techniques can be applied. Marginal costing techniques can be applied by the managers in order to take various business decisions. So out of this various decision-making process, let us understand this one, make or buy decision, and we can also discuss about product mix decision because others are also there. So if you look at your textbook, you can able to see how other decisions can be taken. So how to take this make or buy decision? So for that purpose, let us take one example. We are going to discuss about this one, make or buy. Okay. Whether the organization is going to make or it is going to buy from the market. Okay. It is otherwise known as insourcing or outsourcing. Insourcing means you have to produce yourself. Outsourcing means you have to procure from the market. Okay. Take one example. Example is like that a radio manufacturing company is there. It is going to make a particular component. Okay. Radio manufacturing company is there. It is going to produce a particular component. Let's say that component is A. The name of the component is A. So in order to make this particular component, total cost is given. The total cost is given rupees 6.25. Rupees 6.25. Clear? So this is the production cost. Please remember, this is the production cost or total cost if you are going to make it. If you are going to make it. Clear? If the same company is going to buy from the market, okay, the same component. What is the component? Component A. A is available in the market at what price? Rupees 5.75. Clear? जदि आमे निजे तैयारी करिबा 6 टका 25 पैसा हमकु खर्च करिया पड़िबो जदि आमे मार्केट रु किनिबा 5 टका 75 पैसा रे एटा अवेलेबल अछि कोठी मार्केट. That means here if you are going to buy means buy from the market. Clear? And if you are manufacturing, the cost can be break down. This 6.25 can be break down into the following. That means first one, the direct material cost is there. What is the amount of direct material cost if we are going to produce? It is 2.75 per component. Clear? And direct labor cost is 1.75 per component. And other variables cost is also there, that is rupees 0.50 for each component. Depreciation and other fixed cost. Depreciation and other fixed cost is given. What is the amount? That is given 1.25 rupees for each. So make it total. Tell me, what is the total amount? What is the total?
6.25.
6.25. Is it clear? Is it correct or not?
Yes,
If you are
sir.
producing, it is
Yes,
6.25. And this is the breakdown of the cost. Okay. So what is the question? Question is like this. First, should you make or buy? Let's say you are manager of your organization. So question is, should you make or buy? Buy means buy from the market. Make means you have to produce yourself. And second one, what would be your decision if the supplier offered the component at rupees 4.85? What will be your decision? Who are you? You are the manager. Okay. Your decision, if the same component, if the component means if A is the component, A is available at rupees 4.85. Are you getting my point?
Sir.
A jaha information deyichi, by taking this particular information into consideration, first we will take the decision. What is that? Should we make or should we buy? आमे निजे तैयारी करिबा ना मार्केट रु किनिबा. ठीक अछि?
We will buy, sir.
सेकंड कंडीशन कोन कहला? जदि सप्लायर एबे ऑफर करछि हमहु केते 5 टका 75 रे मार्केट रे मिलुछि, जदि सेटा ऑफर हमको करूची माने कर गोटे सप्लायर जे आज्ञा आपन को मो 4 टका 85 पैसा रे देबी दैट पर्टिकुलर कंपोनेंट, सो व्हाट शुड बी योर डिसीजन? What should be your decision? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So just tell me, is there any next class?
Yes, sir. ME class is there.
ME class is there. I think we have already touched the time limit. What we'll do? So I will discuss here this one along with the next one. Next one means product mix decision by taking another example in our next class. Then we'll discuss about the process costing. Okay. Did you understand
Okay,
the
sir.
question?
Yes, sir.
If you want to
Yes,
take any snapshot, you can take the snapshot right now, though my handwriting is not good. Okay. Radio
Yes, sir.
manufacturing company is there. It needs a certain component. Component name is A. If it is producing that particular component, production cost or total cost to make this component is 6.25. निजे तैयारी करिया पई 6 टका 25 पैसा खर्च करिया को पडुची, जदि मार्केट रो हमें किनिबा 5 टका 75 पैसा रे अवेलेबल अछि। सो ये 6 टका 75 25 पैसा 6 टका 25 पैसा जो हमको खर्च करिया को पडुची केमिति कोन ना मटेरियल पई 2 टका 75 पैसा, लेबर कॉस्ट टंके 75 पैसा, अदर वेरिएबल कॉस्ट आसीबो 50 पैसा, डेप्रिसिएशन एंड अदर फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट आसीबो केते टंके 25 पैसा, टोटल हला केते 6 टका 25 पैसा। बर्तमान हमको से कोन कहूची, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन कहूची शुड यू मेक और बाय, बुझुची ना नहीं, ए जो डिसीजन जो इंफॉर्मेशन देछि ए इंफॉर्मेशन को on the basis of the availability information should we make this particular component or we are going to buy this particular component from the market. Second option kon कहूची, second जो bit of the question, what will be your decision if A means this component A is available at rupees 4.85 each. जदि सप्लायर हमको 4 टका 85 पैसा रे ऑफर करूची तबे what should be our decision? बुझुची ना नहीं, shall we stick to our decision or shall we change our decision? That is the question. Okay, so we'll discuss the solution of this question in our next class. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyway, so for today this much. If you have any query, you can proceed very quickly within 1 or 2 minutes. Otherwise, we are going to wind up the session for today. Any query from your side? No.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining with me.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
good
Thank you,
have a
sir.
good day,
Good
sir.
night.
Good night, sir.
Right. Now, question is that to whom I will make you host? Sir has joined?
Yes, sir, I have joined.
Okay. Okay.
Devidatta Acharya, please.
I am making with the host, sir. Just a minute, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right now, you are the host. I am leaving the class. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very good evening to all of you. I think you need 1-2 minutes to refresh yourself.
Good
Very
evening,
good
sir.
evening. Very good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Let you be all be refreshed. After 1 minute, I'll start. Okay. So today we'll start with your third unit, which is all about your production. We have completed the second unit in the last class. Now coming to the third unit, which is all about your production and cost analysis. So till date, whatever we have discussed is basically related to the consumer's point of view. We discussed about the demand analysis, we discussed about the utility analysis, we discussed about the elasticity concept related to demand and supply. Now, it is our requirement that we also need to know about the producer's state of mind or the behavior of the producer. So in that context, we need to have some sort of familiarity about the production and cost theory. What production is all about, why it is needed. So as I have already told to you while discussing about the nature of managerial economics, that whatever wishes we all have, all our wishes are not supposed to be fulfilled. It is therefore, as consumers, we need to make choices. Regarding choices, there are four things or four questions which are needed to be addressed properly. Now, production is related to consumption because for the satisfaction of consumption, which the consumers want to have, we need to be involved in the production process. By production, you can go on to produce certain goods and services which are ultimately will meet the needs and requirements of the consumers. Therefore, the questions that are supposed to be addressed while trying to go through the production and cost analysis are what to produce, because there is the problem of choice. So the producer need to understand what to produce. Whenever you are in the position of a producer, the first and foremost question that affects you is what to produce. After identifying the answer to this question, you will again be confronted with another question, which is your how to produce. Because you have decided what to produce. So whatever you have decided to produce, in what way you will produce that? That exhibits how to produce. Third question, once you come out with the solution to the problem of how to produce, the third question that confronts you is for whom to produce, who are going to be the end user of your product. And these are the three choice problems that we have discussed. Out of these, the first two questions are supposed to be answered through the production and cost analysis. As I said to you, production is complementary to consumption because without production, consumption is not going to be satisfied. So by the term production, we generally mean the production of the goods and services, which ultimately will help in the satisfaction of the consumer wants and requirements. How the goods and services will be produced then? For that purpose, we need to understand the means of production, which in economic sense we call as the inputs. And the goods and services in economic sense are called as the outputs. So in the entire production analysis, we will use these two words, that is inputs and outputs. Inputs are the means of production and output is the ultimate product. So when we try to find out what production is all about, it is nothing but a process. by nature. What type of process it is? It is a process of transformation of inputs into outputs. Output is basically in the form of goods and services. So the process through which you transform the inputs into outputs, that process itself is considered as the creation of value or wealth, because it creates on the process of transformation of inputs into output creates certain value both for the producer as well as for the consumer. By value I mean the producer will have to sell it at a specific value and the consumer will have to purchase it at a specific value. Therefore, while trying to know about the production theory, we first of all need to understand about the inputs, which are considered to be the means of production. Now, let me show something to you so that it will be easier on part to understand it. Now, is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So at first, I have already written the production function, which I have not yet gone to discuss with you. I have just discussed the concept of production with you all. Now, you are well aware about the concept of production, which we have defined as the process of transformation of inputs into outputs. Now, coming to inputs, what inputs are all about? As I said to you, inputs are nothing but the means of production. That means it basically comprises of those things by using which you will produce the ultimate goods or ultimate services, which in result will go on to satisfy the needs and requirements of the consumers. Now there can be varied number of means of production, there can be varied number of inputs. But in economic sense, when we try to discuss about the process of production, which is nothing but the process of conversion of inputs into outputs, we need to understand what the concept of inputs basically refers to, what are the characteristics of inputs, and how can the inputs be combined into one or more output. Now, if you think of inputs, as I said to you, there can be varied number of inputs. So all the inputs in an economic sense are actually being categorized under 4 different heads. One is your land, one is your labor, one is your capital, and one is your entrepreneur. Land basically consists of all the natural means of production. All the natural, that means whatever things are being given by nature, which we generally use in the production process, they all come under the category of land. Capital, it is basically the man-made factors of production. Whatever factors, whatever means are being used in the production process, which are generally being made by men itself, they constitute the capital. Labor, it is nothing but comprises of all the human resources. All the human resources which are being used in the production process, they constitute the labor. Then coming to entrepreneur, entrepreneur basically is a part of labor input. It is a specific input in the sense that it comprises of that part of human resources which have the ability to take risks in business or who manages the business. So the managers, the executives, those who are supposed to be in the decision making process of an organization, all of them can be considered as an entrepreneur. Now, when we go on to discuss about the production itself, the entire process of production involves 3 things. One is your input, one is your time, time period, one is your technology. Now we have already known about the inputs and we found that there can be 4 different categories of inputs. For the simplicity of our study, we further subcategorize these 4 categories of inputs into 2 major categories. So out of land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, we generally take into consideration 2 inputs, that is labor and capital, for the analysis of production. So remember this, that only for the analysis of production, we take labor and capital as the inputs. So under labor, since entrepreneur is a part of the human resources, under labor we are including the entrepreneur, and under capital we are including the land inputs. Now the inputs are to be processed, to be transformed into output. So there has to be some sort of relationship between the inputs and output. When we try to show the relationship between inputs and outputs, it basically is being shown in the form of a production function. So formation of the production function is not the responsibility of the manager, is not the responsibility of the managerial economists. It is the responsibility of the production department of the organization, because by using certain statistical tools, certain mathematical techniques, they can frame the production function. It is up to the manager, it is up to the managerial economists that they need to analyze the production function. Now, since we have taken labor and capital as the major inputs to be used in the entire production process for the simplicity of our study, so we will deal with a 2-input production function, whereby we'll try to analyze what happens to the output when there occurs a change in any of the 2 inputs or in both the inputs. Clear? So by input, we mean either in the form of labor input or in the form of capital input. Secondly, time period. Time period is much more important in the entire production process, because basing upon the time period, the analysis of production changed. Considering the time period as one of the important factor in the production analysis, we can say that the time period from the production point of view can either be in the form of a short run or in the form of a long run. In the short run, production analysis is different. In the long run, production analysis is different. Why? Because depending upon the time period, the nature of the input changes. In the short run, the time period is supposed to be very short or very limited. And in this limited time period, it is not possible on the part of the producer to make changes in the quantity of all the inputs. Because we have taken a 2-input production function, so while trying to analyze the short run analysis of production function, we can say that in the short run analysis of production function, out of the 2 inputs that we have taken, the quantity of one input can be changed, whereas the quantity of the other input has to remain the same. In this context, we divide the inputs, that is labor and capital, into 2 categories again. One is a fixed input, one is a variable input. So the concept of fixed input and variable input is pertinent to the short period, because in the short period, on account of paucity of time, on account of unavailability of time period, the producer is not in a position to make changes in the quantity of all the inputs. That's why the quantity of one input must have to remain the same throughout the production process, whereas the quantity of the other input will go on changing throughout the production process. So the fixed input and variable input concept is pertinent to the short period. So in the short-run production function analysis, we'll try to analyze what happens to the output when there occurs a change in the quantity of one input, either labor or capital, while the quantity of the other input, either labor or capital, remains the same. But the terminology long term or long run imply that here the time period is sufficient enough. There is availability of sufficient time period for which the producer is in a position to make changes in the quantities of all the inputs in order to make a change in the output level. So in long run, the concept of fixed input is not there, because in the long run, all the inputs are supposed to be variable. That's why the production analysis gets changed in the long run as compared to that in the short run. So in long run production analysis, we'll try to analyze what happens to the total output or what happens to the total product when there occurs a change in the quantity of both labor and capital. So that analysis will be different. That is why initially I said to you that basing upon the time period, the analysis of production changes. The third important factor which is needed to be known on our part before going to analyze the production process is the technology. So technology, you know that in modern times, technology is considered to be one of the most important inputs in any production process, because technology determines the type, quantity, and proportion of inputs. So by technology, what do we mean? Since we have taken two inputs, basing upon that input, we have some technology to use. So technology is related to inputs also. How? Because we are using labor and capital as the inputs. So the technology that we are supposed to use can either be in the form of labor intensive technology or in the form of capital intensive technology. Labor intensive technology imply that in the entire production process, you are relying more on labor than on capital. That means you are going to use more labor as compared to the units of capital. But in capital intensive technology, you are trying to use more capital as compared to labor. So technology can either be in the form of labor intensive technology or in the form of capital intensive technology. So these three things are needed to be known on our part before we go on to analyze the production process. One is input, one is time period, one is technology. Now coming to the relationship between inputs and outputs, because we have already defined the production as one of the processes of transformation of inputs into outputs. So there has to be some sort of relationship. That relationship, so whenever you try to show any relationship between any two variables, you have to use the term function. In mathematics, we generally use the function for trying to show the relationship between two variables. So here there are two variables. One is independent, one is dependent. Output is the dependent variable, inputs are the independent variable, because output depends upon inputs. Therefore, the relationship between input and output can be shown through a production function. And we generally try to analyze the production function based upon the time period. So we can have a short-run production function analysis, or we can have a long-run production function analysis. In our syllabus, both the production function analysis are there. So both short-run as well as long-run production function. Therefore, the first and foremost thing that we need to express while trying to analyze the production process is to define the production function. And because we have taken two inputs, as I said to you, land and capital are supposed to be synonymical, labor and entrepreneur are supposed to be synonymical. Therefore, we take into account the labor and capital as the two inputs. So we'll generally deal with a two input production function, whereby the output is supposed to be a function of inputs. So the production function can be written as Q is a function of L and K, where Q is the output level, L is standing for labor, K stands for capital. Okay. So two input production function will deal with. Now coming to what is the importance of this production function in the decision making process. The analysis of production function basing upon the time period generally helps the managers to optimize the use of input in order to achieve cost efficient output. Because you know that there is a we can say that there is a duality of proximity of objectives or duality of paradoxical objectives on the part of a producer. Duality means double. Paradoxical objectives. One objective is the maximization of profit, and second objective is maximization of output with minimum cost. That means you can go on to produce more, but at the same time you need to ensure that more production is done with less cost. Then only your profit can be maximized. And it is very difficult to attain. That is why you need to analyze the production function. That's why I said to you that in the decision making process, the analysis of production function helps the managers to optimally use the input in order to achieve cost efficient output. And also the analysis of production function is used to decide how the resources will be allocated, how the technology should be selected, and how you can scale up your strategies. Whatever strategies you have devised for the production purpose, how you can scale up them or enhance them. That is why you need to understand the production function, and also you need to analyze the production function. Now, as I said to you that production function is time specific. That's why we can either have a short run production function or we can have a long run production function. And as we have already discussed, in the short run, because of unavailability of sufficient time period, the quantity of one input remains same while the quantity of other input change. That's why the concept of fixed input and variable input arises in case of short run. But in long run, it is not so. Because of the availability of sufficient time period, the producer can make changes in the quantity of all the inputs in order to make a change in the output level. So we can have either short run production function analysis or long run production function analysis. Now we'll start with the short run production function analysis. We have already discussed about the inputs. One thing you need to remember here that in production analysis, generally the inputs are meant by the factors of production, which means the inputs are nothing but the factors which are used in the production process. That's why we also call the inputs as the factors of production. Now, coming to short run production function analysis. Now, in the short run, as I said to you, out of the two inputs that we have taken for the simplicity of our study, and we have devised the production function as a two input production function, any one input has to remain constant, whereas the quantity of the other input will go on changing. So the short run production function analysis is considered to be the analysis of production function with one variable input and one fixed input. So in the entire short run production function analysis, we'll try to find out what will happen to the total output level when there occurs a change in the quantity of one input while the quantity of the other input remains the same. And this analysis is basically being explained with the help of a law. And the law is named as the law of variable proportions or law of diminishing returns. You need to memorize it, that law of variable proportion or law of diminishing returns is the law through which the short run production function analysis can be analyzed or can be done. Now, coming to the law of diminishing returns or law of variable proportions, what it actually postulates, what it actually states. So law of variable proportion means what happens to the output when there occurs a proportionate change in the combination of inputs where the quantity of one input changes and the quantity of the other input remains the same. While trying to analyze the short-run production function and trying to explain the law of diminishing returns, we can say that through this law, we try to identify the effect on output of variations in factor proportions. We have taken two factors, suppose L and K we have taken. There occurs a change in the proportion of L and K. L, suppose you keep L the same and make changes in the quantity of K only. Suppose you have used 1 unit of labor and you have decided to use that 1 unit of labor throughout the production process because you have decided to take labor as the fixed input or fixed factor. Now, when it is associated with 1 unit of capital, the proportion is 1:1. When with an intention to maximize production, you go on to increase the quantity of capital from 1 to 2 units, the proportion becomes changed. Then the proportion again changed when you go on to subsequently increase the quantity of the capital in order to increase the output level. That's why the word factor proportion is there. The effect on output of variations in factor proportions. This is the thing you need to find out through the law of diminishing returns or law of variable proportion. Now, in this connection, we need to understand three major things, because by using that, we will go on to find out the ultimate change in output because of a change in the factor proportions. The three things that we need to understand while trying to analyze the short-run production function is your total product, average product, and marginal product. Total product, you know, it is nothing but the total output. Whatever total output will be produced, that will be termed as the total product. So, since Q in the production function, we have taken Q is a function of L and K, Q is referring to the output level. So, total product is nothing but equal to Q. But the concept of average product and marginal product, these two concepts are basically related to the variable factor only, not the fixed factor. Average product means what is the contribution of an individual unit of the variable factor to the total output. Suppose you have taken labor as the variable factor. Each labor unit is considered as L. So, the individual contribution of each individual unit of labor to the total output is basically being reflected in the form of Q divided by L. Q is the total output. L is the total number of labor that you have used in the production process. So the division of Q with L signifies the average product of labor. Suppose you have used 10 units of labor and you have produced 100 units of output. So on an average, the contribution of an individual unit of labor to the total output is 100 divided by 10, which is equal to 10. The average product. Similarly, if you think of the marginal product in the subject of economics, the concept of marginal is always related to incremental or additional. So marginal product of the variable factor basically represents the contribution of one additional unit of variable factor to the total output. The contribution of one extra unit of variable factor to the total output. That means suppose you have used 10 units of labor, you have produced 100 units of output, but when you go on to use the 11th unit of labor, you find that your output increases from 100 to 105. So here you can say that the contribution of the 11th unit of labor is nothing but 5 units of output. That is the marginal product of the 11th unit of labor, 5 units of output. So knowledge on the concept of average product, marginal product, and total product is highly essential for analyzing the short-run production function. Now, while analyzing the short-run production function, we can ultimately conclude that because of the operation of the law of variable proportion or because of the operation of law of diminishing returns, the total output actually increases at an increasing rate at first up to a certain point. Then after it starts increasing at a diminishing rate to reach the maximum level. And after reaching the maximum level, if you still go on to use more and more variable input, then the total output will go on downwards or will go downwards. Which means, suppose initially you are producing 10 units of output, then after you are producing 22 units of output, then after you are producing 35 units of output, then after you are producing 50 units of output. So up to this level, your output is increasing at an increasing rate because first 10 units, the contribution of the next is equal to 12 units. So the contribution of the additional unit is more. Then the contribution of the third unit is 50 minus 35. 35 minus 22, 13. So it is also increasing. Then 50 minus 35 equal to 15. It is also increasing. Up to a certain limit, it will go. After that, when you still go on to increase the quantity of the variable factor, you can find that the output increased from 50 units to, let's suppose, 58 units. So here output increased, no doubt, but it increased at a lesser rate as compared to the increment which was taking place earlier. After that, you again put another unit of the variable factor. You can find that the output increased from 58 to 65. So another 7 units increased, but here 7 is less than 8. So that we call as the diminishing returns. So diminishing returns occurs in short run because of the fixity of one input and variability of another input. As the proportion changes, what happens? Initially, there is actually underutilization of the variable factor. But after that, there will be an overutilization of the variable factor. Because of the overutilization of the variable factor, the contribution of the additional units of the variable factor goes on diminishing. गोटे जिनस को जिते आप अधिका यूज करेंगे आरंभ जी दौथो रिटर्न देखिए 6 मास पर कि वर्ष पर से रिटर्न कमी 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 एठी से जिनस हो जेहेतु आम एठी प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन जो एनालाइज करूचे एठी गोटे अजम्पशन आम नहीं सब यूनिट ऑफ द वेरिएबल फैक्टर आर सेम और आइडेंटिकल इन ऑल रेस्पेक्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट आम देखुचे जे टोटल आउटपुट हमरो कमी कमी जीवो गोटे सर्टेन स्टेज पर टोटल आउटपुट बढ़ुची बट एट ए डिमिनिशिंग रेट मैक्सिमम लेवल ले पहुंची गला पर जदि आम चाहिए पुणी फर्दर बढ़िया न बढ़ी सेटा कमे सेटा आम कहूँ डिमिनिशिंग रिटर्न्स लॉ ऑफ डिमिनिशिंग रिटर्न्स so it insight रे हम लिखले adding more of one input keeping other constant eventually yields lower additional output जो तुम एग्जांपल अपन नहीं परिबे जे in a textile unit adding more workers on the same number of machines eventually reduces efficiency है ना एटा आसी हमरो शॉर्ट रन लॉन्ग रन को चले जाउचे लॉन्ग रन रे हम कहले जे सब गुडा को हम चेंज कर परिबे we can make changes it short run detail ta next class रे आउट के कहबी आज के ओवरव्यू नहीं जे लॉन्ग रन लॉन्ग रन रे कहउचे जे the quantities of all the inputs gets changed सब इनपुट रो क्वांटिटी हम चेंज कर दे परिबो कारण हम पाखरे सफिशिएंट टाइम पीरियड अछि आज प्रोड्यूसर तेनु जदि हम सब इनपुट रो क्वांटिटी रे चेंजेस करूचे ता इफेक्ट रे हमर आउटपुट कोन चेंज हो सेटा हम देखुचे लॉन्ग रन प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन एनालिसिस तो एठी कोन हो ना हमर एंटायर प्रोडक्शन ता चेंज हो जाउची इनपुट भी चेंज हो आउटपुट भी चेंज हो सेति पे हम सेटा कहूछु चेंज इन स्केल ऑफ प्रोडक्शन दैट्स व्हाई ये जो लॉन्ग रन प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन हम कहले a long run production function can be explained through a law which we call as the law of returns to scale so सेठी हम पढले law of diminishing returns जो हम कहले जे गोटे फैक्टर इनपुट रहबो फिक्स्ड गोटे फैक्टर इनपुट रहबो वेरिएबल एठी हम पढुचे law of returns to scale ता माने स्केल रे चेंज हेले ता इफेक्ट रे रिटर्न इन द फॉर्म ऑफ आउटपुट कोन चेंज हो स्केल ले चेंज हो माने changes occur both in inputs as well as output तेनो दीटा को इनपुट रे चेंज होई पारु सेति पे हमें एटा को एक्सप्लेन करूचे थ्रू ए लॉ व्हिच वी जनरली कॉल एज द लॉ ऑफ रिटर्न्स टू स्केल तो तार भितरे हमरो आसीगो रिटर्न्स टू स्केल ता जोडा हमें डिटेल्स ता पढिबा नेक्स्ट क्लास रे ए तीन प्रकार रिटर्न्स टू स्केल आसे आइदर इंक्रीजिंग रहे न डिक्रीजिंग रहे न कांस्टेंट रहे इन जनरल अपन देखिबे जदि गोटे कंपनी को ऑब्जर्व करिवे कंपनी तार इनिशियल स्टेज माने आरंभ मु कहूनी इनिशियल स्टेज माने जे पर तार नॉर्मल से न आछि यू कैन नॉट कंसीडर दैट एज ए बिजनेस यूनिट तार नॉर्मल से आसे को मिनिमम 4-5 वर्ष लागिवो नॉर्मल से पर जेतले से प्रॉफिट मेकिंग करला तार जो रेट ऑफ प्रॉफिट ता थिबो आरंभ रु से तार सेही दिन 10 वर्ष 15 वर्ष पर आपण देखिबे तार प्रॉफिट होउची किंतु रेट ऑफ प्रॉफिट ता कमी कमी जाउची सपोज हम रिलायंस इंडस्ट्री को नबा इनिशियल लेवल ले सेमानकर जो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन थिला जोडा कि नियरली 5% 6% 7% एम थिला आज के डेट रे जोटी से माने नियरली 70 इयर्स रो कंपनी ही सारली जब देखिबे प्रॉफिट मेकिंग कंपनी बट प्रॉफिट लेवल ता हैज गॉन डाउन प्रॉफिट लेवल ता खसी की पळे आसी 1.5% 2% 1% इते काहे कि होची ना कारण ओवर द टाइम पीरियड कंपटीशन में मध्ये सेंति बढी अधिक रो अधिक कंपिटिटर आसीचंती तेणु मार्केट शेयर से अनुसार कमी तेणु लॉन्ग रन रे जेतले प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन एनालिसिस करछे हम देखिए जे प्रोड्यूसर इज एक्चुअली बीइंग कन्फ्रंटेड विथ 3 डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस वन सिचुएशन इज नोन एज द स्टेज ऑफ इंक्रीजिंग रिटर्न्स टू स्केल गोटे देखिए स्टेज ऑफ कांस्टेंट टू रिटर्न्स टू स्केल और देखिए स्टेज ऑफ डिक्रीजिंग रिटर्न्स टू स्केल बट तीन टा करे हम प्रॉफिट नउथबे बट देयर ऑकर्स ए चेंज इन द मार्जिन ऑफ प्रॉफिट एठी लॉस किछ हो किंतु शॉर्ट रन में कहले जे मैक्सिमम लेवल ले पहुंचला पर जदी हमें प्रोडक्शन कंटिन्यू करिवा ताले लॉस हो कारण सेठी आउटपुट बढ़िया परिवर्तन आउटपुट कम हो एठी किंतु सेटा नहीं आउटपुट बढ़ियो सब बेले बट थिंग इज दैट द प्रॉफिट मार्जिन विल गो डाउन इवेंचुअली तेणु जिते अधिक रो अधिका ଆପଣ ବିଜନେସ୍ କରି କରି ଚାଲିବେ ଅଧିକରୁ ଅଧିକ ବର୍ଷ, ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ ଯଦି ଓଭର ଦ ଟାଇମ୍ ପିରିୟଡ଼ ଯଦି ତାର ପ୍ରଫିଟ୍ ମାର୍ଜିନ୍ କୁ consideration କୁ ନେବେ, you can find that profit margin actually will go down. ତେଣୁ ସେଇ ତିନିଟା ଯାକ ସେଥିରେ ପଡିବ। ଏଠି ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ନେଇଛେ ସଫ୍ଟୱେୟାର ଆଜ ଏ ସର୍ଭିସ। ଆଜିକାଲିକା ଡେଟରେ ଏଇ ସବୁ କମ୍ପାନୀ ଗୁଡାକର ବହୁତ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାନ୍ସ ରହିଛି। ସାସ୍ ବୋଲି ଯୋଉ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି SAAS, ଯଦି ସଫ୍ଟୱେୟାର ଆଜ ଏ ସର୍ଭିସ, ଯଦି ସାସ୍ କମ୍ପାନୀ ନବ, ସେ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ କରୁଛି ଇନକ୍ରିଜିଂ ରିଟର୍ନସ୍ ଟୁ ସ୍କେଲ ଆଜ adding server services boosts user capacity at low marginal cost. ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଗୋଟେ ଆମେ ନେଇଛୁ। ସେଇ ରିଟର୍ନସ୍ ଟୁ ସ୍କେଲଟା ଯୋଉ ଆମେ ଦେଖେଇବା, ସେଟାକୁ ଆମେ ବେସିକାଲି ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନ କରୁଛୁ ଗ୍ରାଫିକାଲି, ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ଯୋଡେ ଜିନିଷ ଆମେ ୟୁଜ କରୁ, ଯୋଡେ ଗ୍ରାଫ ୟୁଜ କରୁ, ଗୋଟେ ଆଇସୋ କ୍ୱାଣ୍ଟ, ଗୋଟେ ଆଇସୋ କଷ୍ଟ, ତାକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ଏଠି ଲେଖିଛି ହେଲା। ମାନେ ତମେ କର୍ଭେଚର ସେପରେ ଯଦି ଦେଖେଇବ, ତାହେଲେ ଆଇସୋ କ୍ୱାଣ୍ଟଟା ଗୋଟେ କର୍ଭ ରହିବ, ଯୋଉଟା କି ଶୋ କରିବ ଅଲ୍ କମ୍ବିନେସନ୍ସ ଅଫ ଇନପୁଟ୍ସ ଦ୍ୟାଟ ପ୍ରଡ୍ୟୁସ ଦ ସେମ୍ ଲେଭେଲ ଅଫ ଆଉଟପୁଟ୍। ଆଇସୋ କଷ୍ଟଟା ଗୋଟେ ଲାଇନ ଇଏରେ ରହିବ, କାରଣ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ସନ ସାଙ୍ଗେ କଷ୍ଟଟା ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମର କମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ହେଇକି ରହୁଛି। ଆଇସୋ ମିନ୍ସ ଇକ୍ୱାଲ, ତେଣୁ ଆଇସୋ କଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଯୋଉ ଲାଇନଟା ଶୋ କରୁଥିବ କି ଇନପୁଟ କମ୍ବିନେସନ୍ସ ଆଟ୍ ଏ ଗିଭେନ୍ କଷ୍ଟ। ଗୋଟେ କଷ୍ଟ ଦିଆ ହେଇକି ସେଇ କଷ୍ଟରୁ କେତେ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଇନପୁଟ କମ୍ବିନେସନ ହେଇପାରିବ। ତେଣୁ ଏଇଟାକୁ ଆମେ ବେସିକାଲି ୟୁଜ କରୁ ଲଙ୍ଗ ରନ୍ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ସନ ଫଙ୍କସନକୁ, ଯୋଉଠିକି ଆମେ ଆଇସୋ କଷ୍ଟ ୟୁଜ କରୁ। ସେଟାକୁ ବେସିକାଲି ଆମେ ୟୁଜ କରୁ ଟୁ ଫାଇଣ୍ଡ ଆଉଟ ଦ लिस्ट कॉस्ट कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ इनपुट्स फॉर डिजायर्ड आउटपुट। तमाने जो इनपुट आमे नबा, जेमति कम खर्च रे, कम कॉस्ट रे आमे ऑप्टिमम कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ इनपुट नै परबा, जोटा कि हमकु ग्रेटर रिजल्ट दबो इन द फॉर्म ऑफ आउटपुट। तो एगुडा हमरा आसुची अबाउट द प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस, गोटे ओवरव्यू रहउची प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस रो। तो आमे जानले जे प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन ता इटसेल्फ indicates the functional relationship between inputs and outputs. Secondly, I'm calling the input with input output relationship that basically depend करूची time period ऊपर। Depending upon the time period, I'm further calling the input that can be fixed input or variable input. But the concept of fixed input is strictly related to the short run, because in the long run there is no concept of fixed inputs. So ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ production function ଟାକୁ analyze କରୁଛୁ basing upon the time period, we are analyzing the short run production function and long run production function analysis. ତ ଆର decision making ଉପରେ କଣ impact, ଏଇଟା ବି ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଯେ ଆର importance ଟା କଣ ରହୁଛି। ଯେ production function analysis କଲେ ଗୋଟେ producer ଜାଣିପାରିବ ଯେ ଯୋଉ input ଟା ସେ use କରୁଛି, ଯୋଉ inputs use ହଉଛି in the production process, ତାକୁ କେମିତି optimally use କରିବ to achieve cost efficient output. Least cost रे केमती जेतिकी तार desired output अछि सेतिकी से पाई परिबो, सेटाको हमें देखुचे सेतिर हेल्प करछु। सेई प्रकार ये आ गोटे वे रे मध्ये हमको हेल्प करछु जे प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन एनालिसिस ता जानिले हमें जानि परिया जे गोटे प्रोड्यूसर तार रिसोर्स को केमती एफिशिएंटली एलोकेट करूची, गोटे प्रोड्यूसर केमिति प्रॉपर टेक्नोलॉजी सिलेक्ट करूची तार प्रोडक्शन का डिसीजन मेकिंग रा इंपोर्टेंस ता रहूची। तो जदि हमें ओवरऑल देखिया जे प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन रो इंपोर्टेंस ता कोन रहिची, पर्टिकुलरली इन द स्टडी ऑफ मैनेजरियल इकोनॉमिक्स, व्हाई वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन कांसेप्ट, ताले हम कहि परिया जे प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन कांसेप्ट जानिले we can generally take some time bound as well as some rational decisions. Our production function, understanding of production function helps in analyzing the productivity, helps in making cost efficient production plans, helps in choosing optimal input mixes, and helps in leveraging technology and scale effectively. So these are the basic advantages of understanding production function. That's why the production function is there, which we need to understand. So production function रे कोन हम जानिले, different types of production function जानिले। next class में production function में analysis जो कहली जे short run और long run में कोन रहउची सेटा हमें देखिया। तो short run में हम कहली जे law of variable proportion बा law of diminishing returns हमर यूज होची। ଯାହା ଯୋଉଥିପାଇଁ କି ଆମର ଦେଖୁଛେ ଯେ ଆଉଟପୁଟ ଟା affected ହଉଛି because of a change in the quantity of one input where the quantity of the other input remains the same. But long run रे जेहेतु ସବୁ factor input ର quantity change हଉଛି, therefore the output also gets changed, but it changes in a different way. जो context में हमें returns to scale ता मध्य देखले, increasing returns to scale, decreasing returns to scale and constant returns to scale देखले. तो सही returns to scale को यूज करके हमें लॉन्ग रन प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन एनालिसिस टा करूଛୁ। हाँ, ଏଠି ଥାଉ ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ରେ ଦେଖିବା। କଣ ପଚାରିବାର ଅଛି? କଣ ପଚାରିବାର ଅଛି ଯଦି ପଚାର।
ମାନେ ପ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ର ଆଜ୍ଞା
ହଁ
ସାର୍ ପ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ଫଙ୍କସନ ର ଯୋଉ ଦିଟା ଅଛି ଗୋଟେ ଲଙ୍ଗ ଟର୍ମ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସର୍ଟ ଟର୍ମ ସେଇଟାରେ
ହଁ
ସାର୍ ମାନେ ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲ ଯୋଉ କଲେଜ ରୁ ମିଳିଛି ସେଥିରେ କିଛି ଅଲଗା ଅଛି ଆଉ ଆପଣ ଏବେ ଯୋଉଟା ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି ସେଥିରେ କିଛି ଅଲଗା ଅଛି ଆଉ ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲ ରେ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ବି ଅଛି ଆଉ
ହଁ
ଏକ୍ସାମ ରେ ଯଦି
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ତ ରହିବ,
କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ରହିବ।
ଏକ୍ସାମ ରେ
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ମୁଁ
question
ଏଥିରେ ଦେଖିକି
ଆସିଲେ
କରିବିନି ବୋଲି ଦେଖିନି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଯୋଉ କରିବେ ଆପଣ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ପ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ଫଙ୍କସନ ର ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଯୋଉ କରିବେ ସେଥିରେ ଆମେ ଇନପୁଟ ଆଉଟପୁଟ ରିଲେସନସିପ ଟା ଦେଖଉଛେ ନା, ତେଣୁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଯୋଉ ଇନପୁଟ କୁ ନେଇକି କରୁଛେ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା, ଇନପୁଟ କୁ ଦେଖେଇବା ଆଉଟପୁଟ କୁ ଦେଖେଇବା, ସେ ଦିଟା ଆକ୍ସିସ ରେ ନର୍ମାଲି ଆମେ ଇନପୁଟ ନଉ, ମଝିଟାରେ ଆମେ ଆଉଟପୁଟ ଟାକୁ ଦେଖୁ, ଆଉଟପୁଟ ଟା କେମିତି ଚେଞ୍ଜେସ ହଉଛି। ଯଦି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଚାହିଁବେ ମୁଁ କାଲି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଦେଖେଇଦେବି, ସେଟା ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଟିକେ ଡିସକସନ କରିଦବା।
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ବୁକ୍ ରେ ବି
ହଁ
ଅଛି ସେଥିରେ କିଛି ସେଇଟା ନାହିଁ ମାନେ ଏକ୍ସାମ ରେ ଯଦି ଆସେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆମେ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ କରିକି ତାକୁ ଏଲାବୋରେଟ କରିକି ପୁରା
ହଁ
ଲେଖିବୁ।
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ କରିପାରନ୍ତି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ, କାରଣ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଏଜୁକେସନ ରେ ଆମେ ପିଓର ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ପଢୁନି, ଆମେ ଆର ୟୁଜ ଟା ପଢୁଛେ। ସେ କଣ କି ଧରାବନ୍ଧା ନୀତିରେ ଗୋଟେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଚାଲି ଆସିଛି, ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ କଲେ ନମ୍ବର ଦେବେ ନହେଲେ ନାହିଁ। ବଟ ଆଜିକାଲି ବହୁତ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଗଲାଣି। ଆପଣ ଯଦି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍ ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଭଲ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ସ୍କୁଲ ଗୁଡାକୁ ଦେଖିବେ, ଦେ ଆର୍ ନଟ୍ ଫୋକସିଂ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଅନ୍ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମସ୍। ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମସ୍ ଟା ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ ଲେଭେଲରେ ଯୋଉ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ଯୋଉମାନେ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି ମାଇକ୍ରୋ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ important। ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମାଟିକାଲି ଏଥିରେ କଣ ଦେଖିବେ, ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ ଟା ରହିବା ଦରକାର ଯେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷଟା ଆମେ ପଢୁଛୁ ଏଇଟା ବିଜନେସ ରେ କେମିତି ଆମେ ୟୁଜ କରୁଛୁ। ତେଣୁ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ମୋର ଅଫ ଆନାଲିଟିକାଲ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲାନେସନ ଦେନ୍ ଅନ୍ ଗ୍ରାଫିକାଲ ରିପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟେସନ। ତଥାପି ସେଇଟା ଆମେ ଦେଖିଦବା, ମୁଁ କାଲି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିଦେବି ସେଟାକୁ, ଯଦି ମାନେ ସେଟା ଟିକେ ଇଏ ଆସୁଛି ସେଟା
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କହିଦବା,
ସାର୍
କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ। କାରଣ ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ କୋର୍ସ ଅଛି ନା, 10ଟା କ୍ଲାସ ତ ସମ୍ଭବ ନୁହେଁ, ତେଣୁ ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ଦେଇଥିଲେ ସୁବିଧା ହେଇଯିବ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ, ଯେ ହଁ ସବୁ ଉପରେ କିଛି କିଛି ଆଇଡିଆ ଆସିଗଲା ଆମର। କାରଣ ଆ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ କଷ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଟ ଟା ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଛି ଥାର୍ଡ ୟୁନିଟ ରେ। କୋଉଟା
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆଉ
ଆଉ
କଣ
ଟିକେ
ଅଛି
ସାର୍
କୁହନ୍ତୁ?
ଥିଲା କି ଯୋଉ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି ଅଫ ଡିମାଣ୍ଡ ରେ ଯଦି ତାର
ହଁ
ଟାଇପ୍ସ ଥିବ ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଚାରିଟା ଲେଖିଦବୁ, ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି,
ହଁ
ଡିମାଣ୍ଡ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି,
ମାନେ ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, ଇନକମ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, କ୍ରସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି,
ଇନକମ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, କ୍ରସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, ଆଡଭର୍ଟାଇଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଏମିତି
ହଁ
ଗୋଟେ।
ହଁ ହଁ
ଆଉ ଯଦି ସେ
ଆଡଭର୍ଟାଇଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଟା
ଟାଇପ୍ସ ଅଫ
ଏଇ
ପ୍ରାଇସ୍
ମଡର୍ନ ଡେ ରେ ଅଛି ଟାଇପ ଅଫ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଟାଇପ୍ସ ଅଫ ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି ଯଦି ଥିବ ତାହେଲେ
ହଁ
ସେ ଯୋଉ ପାଞ୍ଚଟା ଯୋଉଟା ପରଫେକ୍ଟ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, ପରଫେକ୍ଟ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ପରଫେକ୍ଟ
ନାଇଁ ଯୋଉ
ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ
ପରଫେକ୍ଟ
ଗୁଡାକୁ
ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ,
ଏଲାବୋରେଟ କରିବୁ।
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ, ଯୋଉ ପରଫେକ୍ଟ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି କଥା କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ପରଫେକ୍ଟ ହଉ, ରିଲେଟିଭଲି ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ହଉ କିମ୍ବା
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଇଟା ହଉ,
ୟୁନିଟାରୀ ଆଜ୍ଞା
ପରଫେକ୍ଟଲି ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ହଉ, ଏଗୁଡା ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଟାଇପ ନୁହେଁ, ଏଗୁଡା ହଉଛି ଡିଗ୍ରିଜ ଅଫ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି। ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି ର
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କଣ ଯଦି ପଚରାଯାଏ ତାହେଲେ ଏଗୁଡା ଲେଖାଯିବ। ଟାଇପ୍ସ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆସିଲା ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କଣ କହିଥିଲି ଯେ କୋଉ ଭ୍ୟାରିଏବଲ ଉପରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଡିମାଣ୍ଡ ଟା ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି, ଡିପେଣ୍ଡିଂ ଅନ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଟାଇପ୍ସ ଆସିବ। ଆମେ ଦେଖିଲେ ଯେ ଡିମାଣ୍ଡ ଫର ଏ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଡିପେଣ୍ଡସ ଅନ୍ ମେନି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ। ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ଭ୍ୟାରିଏବଲ ଉପରେ, ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଉପରେ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟର ଡିମାଣ୍ଡ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି। ସେ କେବଳ ତା ପ୍ରାଇସ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁନି, ସେ କନଜ୍ୟୁମର ଇନକମ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି,
ଇନକମ୍
କନଜ୍ୟୁମର
ଉପରେ
ଟେଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ରିଫରେନ୍ସ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି, ସବୁ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି, ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଅଛି। ତ ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଚାରିଟା ମେଜର ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଆମେ ନେଲେ, ଗୋଟେ ନେଲେ ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଅଫ ଦି ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟ, ଗୋଟେ ନେଲେ ଇନକମ୍ ଅଫ ଦ କନଜ୍ୟୁମର, ଗୋଟେ ନେଲେ ପ୍ରାଇସେସ୍ ଅଫ ଦ ରିଲେଟେଡ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟସ, ଗୋଟେ ନେଲେ ଆଡଭର୍ଟାଇଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଏକ୍ସପେଣ୍ଡିଚର। ଏଇ ଯେହେତୁ ଏଇ ଚାରିଟାକ ମେଜର ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ରହୁଛି ଯୋଉଟା କି ଯେକୌଣସି ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟର ଡିମାଣ୍ଡକୁ ଆଫେକ୍ଟ କରୁଛି, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟିର ଟାଇପ ଦେଖିବା, ଏଇ ଚାରିଟାକୁ ନେଇକି ଆମେ ଚାରିଟା ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଟାଇପ କଲେ, ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, ଗୋଟେ ଇନକମ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, ଗୋଟେ କ୍ରସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି, ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରମୋସନାଲ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି ବା ଆଡଭର୍ଟାଇଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି। ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କହୁଛନ୍ତି ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି ର ଟାଇପ୍ସ, ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଟାଇପ ହଉଛି ଡିଗ୍ରୀ, ଆଉ ସେ ଡିଗ୍ରୀଟା is not only related to price elasticity, it is related to all the types of elasticities. ସେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡିଗ୍ରୀଟାରେ ଆସିବ ପରଫେକ୍ଟଲି ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ କେତେବେଳେ ହବ, ପରଫେକ୍ଟଲି ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ କେତେବେଳେ ହବ, ଏଇଟା କଣ କି ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଥିଓରି ପାଇଁ ଦରକାର। ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କଥା ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଡୁଛି, ଯେତେବେଳେ ରିଅଲ ବିଜନେସ ୱାର୍ଲଡ କୁ ଆପଣ ଆସିଯିବେ, ଯୋଉଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିଲି, ଆପଣ କେବଳ ଜାଣିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବେ ଯେ ମୋ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟଟା ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ନା ପ୍ରାଇସ୍ ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ମୋ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟଟା ଇନକମ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ନା ଇନକମ୍ ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ମୋ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟଟା କ୍ରସ୍ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ନା କ୍ରସ୍ ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ମୋ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟଟା ପ୍ରମୋଶନାଲ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ନା ପ୍ରମୋଶନାଲ ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ। ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ପିନ୍ ଡାଉନ୍ କରିଦଉଛୁ ଅଲ୍ଟିମେଟଲି ଆଜ ବିଜନେସ ଆନାଲିଷ୍ଟ ଯେ ବା ଆଜ ବିଜନେସ ଓନର୍ସ, ଆମେ ପିନ୍ ଡାଉନ୍ କରୁଛୁ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିସିଟି କନସେପ୍ଟଟାକୁ, ଯେ whether our product is having elastic demand or inelastic demand, ଆଉ ସେ ରିଲେଟିଭଲି ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ରିଲେଟିଭଲି ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ୟୁନିଟାରୀ ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ପରଫେକ୍ଟଲି ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, ଏଗୁଡାକୁ ଆମେ ନଉନାହୁଁ କନସିଡରେସନ। ରିଅଲ ୱାର୍ଲଡ ସିଚୁଏସନ କଥା ଆପଣ କହୁଛୁ। ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ MBA କରୁଛୁ, ଅଲ୍ଟିମେଟଲି ଆପଣ କଣ କରିବେ, ଆପରେ ତ କର୍ପୋରେଟ କୁ ଯିବେ ନା, ତ ସେଠି ଦେଖିବି ଯେ କେବଳ ସେ ଯୋଡିଏ କନସେପ୍ଟ ୟୁଜ ହଉଛି, ଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ନା ଇନଇଲାଷ୍ଟିକ, କେବଳ ଯେତିକି ଦରକାର ମୋର ସେତିକି କହ, ଥିଓରି ଭିତରକୁ ଏତେ ଯାଅନି। ସେଥିପାଇଁ କି ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ମାନଙ୍କୁ କଣ କହୁଛି ନା, ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ୟୁଜ କରିବା ଇନ ଆୱାର ଇଏ ପ୍ରଫେସନାଲ କ୍ୟାରିୟର, ଆମେ ତାରି ଉପରେ ଟିକେ ଆଇଡିଆ ନେବା। ଆମେ କନସେପ୍ଟଟା ଆଣିଲେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ, ତା ମାନେ ନୁହେଁ ଯେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ଯାହା ଥିଓରି ଅଛି ଆମେ ତାକୁ ପଢିବା। ବହି ଯିଏ ଲେଖିବ ସେ ତ ସବୁ ଜାଗା ନ ପୁରେଇଲେ ତା ବହି ତ ବଡ ମୋଟା ହବନି କି ବଡ ହବନି, ଅଧିକା ପେଜ ହବନି, ତେଣୁ ସେଇଟା ହିଁ ଲେଖିବ ଅଳ୍ପ କେବେ। ବଟ୍ ଆମ ପାଇଁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡିଂ ଇଜ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ। କନସେପ୍ଟଟା ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଲେ ସେ କନସେପ୍ଟଟା କେମିତି ୟୁଜ ହଉଛି ସେଟା ହଉଛି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ, ବୁଝିପାରିଲେ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
ତେଣୁ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ପର୍ପୋଜ ପାଇଁ ଆପଣ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ କରନ୍ତୁ। ମୁଁ କେବେ ହେଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଡିସୁଏଡ କରିବିନି ଯେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ
କରନ୍ତୁନି ବୋଲି।
ସେଥିଲାଗି ହିଁ ପଚାରିଲି, କାହିଁକି
ହଁ
ଏକ୍ସାମରେ ଯଦି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆସିବ ଆମେ
ହଁ,
କେମିତି ଟିକେ
କାରଣ
ଲେଖିବୁ,
ମୁଁ ତ
କେମିତି
ଯାଇ
ତାକୁ
ଖାତା ଦେଖୁନି ନା, ଖାତା ଯିଏ
explain
ଦେଖିବ
କରିବୁ।
ସେ ଏକ୍ସାମିନର ର କଣ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଅଫ ମାଇଣ୍ଡ ଥିବ, ସେ ଦେଖିବ ଯେ ନାଇଁ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ କରିବି ନମ୍ବର କାଢିଦେବି। ମୁଁ ଯଦି ଖାତା ଦେଖିବି ମୁଁ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମକୁ ଅନାଇନି, କାରଣ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ପିଲାଙ୍କର ଆମେ ଦେଖୁ ଆନାଲିଟିକାଲ ସ୍କିଲ ଟା କଣ ଅଛି, ହାଉ ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ୟୁଟିଲାଇଜ ଦ କନସେପ୍ଟ into your analysis. That is much more important because in the corporates you are going to use that. କାଲି ଗୋଟେ କର୍ପୋରେଟ ଛିଡା ହେଇଥିଲେ ଗୋଟେ ମିଟିଂ ଆପଣ କନଭେନ୍ କରୁଥିବେ, କିମ୍ବା ମିଟିଂ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ କରୁଥିବେ କୋଉ ମିଟିଂ ରେ, ଆପଣ ସେ କହିବେ ୟୁ ପିନ୍ ଡାଉନ୍ ଟୁ ଦ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଓନ୍ଲି, ବା ୟୁ ପିନ୍ ଡାଉନ୍ ଟୁ ଦ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଓନ୍ଲି, ଆଉ ଏତେ ଭିତରକୁ ଯିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ। ସେଇଟା ତ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଅସୁବିଧା
ସାର୍
ହଉଛି
ଠିକ
ନା ଏପଟ ମାନେ ବି ସ୍କୁଲ ଗୁଡାକରେ ସେଇ ଜିନିଷଟାକୁ ଏତେ ଫୋକସ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି। ଆପଣ ତ ଏକ୍ଜିକ୍ୟୁଟିଭ MBA ରେ ନେଇଛନ୍ତି ମାନେ କିଛି କି କୋଉଠି ହେଲେ ଚାକିରି କରିଥିବେ, ଜାଣିଥିବେ ରିଲେଟ ଟା କଣ। ତେଣୁ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ର ଆମର
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍
ଯାହା
ବହୁତ
ଯାହା
ବାଟ
କନସେପ୍ଟ
ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ
ଅଛି, we need to have the conceptual clarity and at the same time we also need to understand how those concepts are being analyzed. ତେଣୁ ଯୋଡିଏ ଜିନିଷ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦରକାର, କନସେପ୍ଚୁଆଲ କ୍ଲାରିଟି, ଆନାଲିଟିକାଲ ସ୍କିଲ୍ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ, ଏତିକି ଆଉ କି ଦରକାର।
ଓକେ ସାର୍ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ
ତ
ୟୁ।
ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସରେ ମୁଁ କହିଦେବି ସେଇଟାକୁ। ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।